It's been an amazing, head start to the year. And we all know that the COVID effect has really accelerated digital journey. And so we believe today will be a good platform for ladies and women in career and profession to be able to further, equip themselves with fundamental know-how of digital. The world has gone digital, so we all must catch up with the trend, or else we'll be left behind. And of course, the fourth industrial revolution that is staring all of us at the faces really makes it a must for all of us to be digitally savvy. So we believe this is just going to be a good way for you to start. It's not the end in itself. It's just to kick you off and, stimulate your appetite towards, learning more. The space is quite huge. How far you can go is so enormous. But we believe we can get you started on your digital journey with this training. So we are still welcoming more participants who will soon be starting. We had more than 300 registered attendees, and all of them were properly, engaged with their links and follow up and all that. So we believe we have that good number as well. So we are still welcoming adding participants to the page. The speakers are ready, the material is ready, and we'll be good to go. We're just waiting for more participants to join us. I think we should just hit the ground running as we look forward to adding more participants as they join. I want to welcome you to this training on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Executive Council, and the management of Fintech Association of Nigeria and WIMBIZ, who are partnering to bring this training to women leaders in career and professional students. So we want to welcome you again, and we wish you all a very memorable and worthwhile time on the training. What we have done over the years is to really, be the anchor arrowhead of digital education in Nigeria. And this will be maybe seventh in the series of our training we've had with regulators, NDIC, SEC. We've had similar training with Arbitrators Association, NICAB. We've had with insurance professionals, NIA, NCRIB, CIN, and of course, one is even coming up again, the advanced level. So it's going to be a very great moment, and we carefully look for those who facilitate our training, as you will soon see and experience. We clearly don't use academia for our training. With due respect to them, but we just want to ensure the people who are in the field, the people who are laying their hands on the practicality of what we are preaching, are the one who facilitate our training from the experience point of view. And that is why we've carefully, brought together dynamic and very, technology savvy and driven professionals who will be facilitating the training. Without further ado, we will hit the ground running by inviting Mrs. Ansatu Adegbite, the Executive Secretary at WIMBIZ, who will be given the brief opening remarks. Over to you, Madam.
Good morning, everybody. And Seun, thank you for the introduction. First of all, I just want to appreciate Fintech Nigeria for this laudable program. I actually commend them. This was their own idea. They reached out to WIMBIZ, and one of the reasons we were very open to this is because it's very relevant for our women to be up to par with what is happening in the digital space, as it's relevant to them as business women, as corporate women, and as women in the public service. The world is moving at the speed of lightning, and those of us that don't capture the true essence of the digitalization that is going on may become very irrelevant in the near future. I want to also commend and appreciate our as speakers, and I can also say that at least I am very sure that I see WIMBIZ women amongst even our speakers. So it's still one big family. Lola is one of us. She's an associate member of WIMBIZ. And so it's good to see us together, even with Jameeiah, we're all together as one big family. We are women that, I commend all the women in tech. We are all women that are collectively contributing to nation building. And this will help to enhance, this training will help to enhance our skills. I do know that our women are very busy. And so I want to appreciate every single one of them that signed on for this program. And I also use this opportunity to also appreciate Fintech. I believe that this program is going to be very relevant to us. And I know that a lot of people may even reach out to Fintech after this to not only sign up for the various organizations, but to also see how they can expand on whatever they are able to learn today. So I will encourage Fintech to also share in future all the various information on trainings that will build digital savvy women that will be professionals in various digital aspects of business and all the other areas that are relevant. So thank you once again. I welcome everybody and I wish you a fantastic time ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. We are so excited to partner with WIMBIZ in delivering this, and we look forward to, greater moments of deep dive training, even for women. We all believe that it's nothing women cannot do, and if you have seen the future of work forecast, a lot of things, a lot of opportunities in the digital space. So we need to adequately equip women to be able to play effectively, even in this space. Let me also now welcome the representative of the Executive Council of Fintech Association of Nigeria, Mrs. Tolulope Omoleyo-Shindero. She's the General Secretary of the association and the head legal and compliance at branch. Over to you, madam.
Thank you very much, Seun. Thank you, Mr. Adibite, for that very short and apt opening remarks, just in terms of setting the expectation and appreciating the idea behind this training. Good morning, everyone. As Seun said, my name is Tolulope, and I'm really excited to be here this morning. Needless to say that like we all know, there's a there's a digital revolution that has started, and for us to play in that revolution, or for us to play in that economy, there's certain skills that are required, that we should have. Traditionally, even prior to now, women have been sort of underrepresented in workplace, in business, even in terms of getting access to opportunities, just even for education and skills. And so there's that gap that we need to cover ordinarily. And then we've now even gotten into a more delicate situation of a digital revolution that is happening at the speed of light, where even before you realize, what you used to do manually or what used to be done in a certain way at your workplace or in your career is now being done in a different way, or is now being done with different tools that you need to know. You need to understand how it works, and you also need to be able to catch up with how it is changing, because things are changing so fast. So for us at Fintech Nigeria, we're committed to equipping our members. We're committed to also extending resources that we have to other members of society, especially people in the tech space, also women, students as well, because again, we know that the richer the community we have in terms of skills and understanding of the digital economy, the greater the impact will be as a society, and also the greater the impact we'll be able to have on our businesses and projects. So without much ado, I'm supposed to be introducing the facilitators today, just in terms of getting you to know their backgrounds, who they are, and what they will be speaking to you about. First, we Ms. Jameeiah-Ayedun, who is the MD of first is Ms. Jameeiah-Ayedun, who is the MD of CRC Credit Registry. One of the leading credit bureaus in Nigeria, and they play a very significant role in terms of, providing credit reports, credit assessments, and just even enriching the credit, enriching the pool for credit decisions in Nigeria. She's going to be talking to us about, managing communications, she's going to talk to us about managing communications and stuff, things that you also need to know in terms of using devices. So I would say, generally when people talk about digital economy, digital skills, one important thing that everyone mentions is the ability to communicate, to share and collaborate, using relevant digital skills, being able to provide, create content and stuff like that. That's one major skill that people already have, just in terms of you even being able to connect to this Zoom call to join this webinar. That's it. But it also goes beyond that in terms of being able to create certain types of content, being able to use certain types of applications, and she's going to be taking us through that. Second person, our second facilitator is Lola, who's head digital and innovation for Union Bank. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity hearing from someone at Union Bank, given their own position in the banking industry. Union Bank is one of the oldest banks in Nigeria, and I think we'll all agree that they've certainly transformed banking in a way. They've transformed banking. They've transformed our perception of Union Bank. Union Bank used to be one of the banks that you will probably not. You and I, well, I don't want to say you and I, myself and a couple of other people of my age range will probably not have opened a bank with them because they were seen as old banks. But in the past couple of years, they've evolved. They've also caught up with innovation, from the way you access your account to the way you transact with them, with the channels that they've also made available to their customers. And that's certainly a demonstration of their commitments to digitization, and also and this has certainly involved people having to learn digital skills, or them employing people that have the right digital skills to implement this digitization. So Lola is going to be speaking to us on digital transactions, maximizing your online presence as a business person, or just even as a career person, and digital security, making sure that you're safe online, making sure that you're using the right tools to protect yourself to the extent that you're able to. I think that it's going to be a very interesting couple of hours. Certainly, we're not going to be able to cover everything in terms of empowering everyone for the digital economy in the next 4 hours, but I think that the right foundations will be laid today. I think that people will also learn stuff that you'll probably hear things that you'll also hear things that you didn't know, and you probably hear things from a different perspective. Our expectation is that you'll be able to take all of these things and also make a commitment to improve your own self, to acquire skills to the extent that you're able to do so, get the relevant trainings, apply them, do so by yourself, or get your organizations to do that for you, and generally improve the collective, how would I say it now? Improve the collective resources that we have, or improve the collective skills that we have amongst women, so that we're able to compete, we're able to thrive in the digital economy. That would be all from myself. So I'm going to hand over back to Sheung, who would I think probably hand us over to Ms. Jameeiah.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. That was a great presentation or remark. You also had more flesh to the quality of the facilitator, Mrs. Jameeiah Sharrieff-Ayedun. She has more than 30 years experience in business, technology, and people. And you will agree with me that is a dynamic combination of experience. If you have technology, you need people. If you have people, you need technology. And so when you have a professional who combines business with technology and with people, you are in for a mind-blowing time with that. And our experience cut across various continents. That also brings international exposure to the level of delivery we will be all experiencing in a very short while. She's actually, just a point of correction, she's the CEO of Credit Registry. So, we will be pleased to yield the floor to Mrs. Jameeiah Sharrieff-Ayedun, who will just take us through the first phase of the training. But before that, we also appeal to you that you can use Q&A button for questions. It will be preferable you use Q&A button for whatever questions you have. And a time will come when we will be having question and answer session. Please feel free to ask questions and interact. Over to you, madam. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Shegun, I also want to say that I'm so happy to be a part of Fintech Nigeria. It's been such an honor working with such amazing people like Tolu, who's our secretary. I just want to say I'm just glad to be here today. I also want to thank Hansatu from WIMBIZ. Thank you for that beautiful opening remark and getting us really kicked off here for today. I'm going to share my screen here, making sure that I have permissions to share and make sure everyone can see my space. All right, is everyone able to see my slides? Maybe Sharon, you can just let me know.
Very clearly.
Okay, fantastic. So I am should I say, just honored in the fact that this made it very easy for me. I was guided today with this presentation by the leadership of both Fintech Nigeria and WIMBIZ. So the topic was very timely and it was very easy for me to be able to come up with some things that I hope will be able to add a little bit of information and ease in your way of doing business if you're in school and your way of communicating with your schools, as well as if you are just, at this point, just being at home a lot, how you can make communication that much easier using digital platforms. So let's see. So this objective that we have is really to raise awareness of many digital tools and their uses, familiarize ourselves with those tools, and also have practical demonstrations. And so I am going to take that very, very literally. Like I said, the team was able to give me this instruction, so I'm going to take it very literally, and we will have some practical demonstrations. To get started, this is one of the things we are going to do. So for those who are familiar with Zoom, this will hopefully be very easy for you. Before I dive right in, I wanted to get an opportunity, since this is a larger audience, to get to know some of you. I wanted to get a chance to know who I'm speaking with and get a chance to know you. So I have created this game from a childhood game that I used to play called Tag. Now, I call this game that I've created Zoom Tag. And Zoom, I will send you my bill later, so you can use this in the future, so you will get my bill later. This is a brand new game. I hope that you guys find it fun. I try to use every opportunity, whether I'm in person or digitally, to try to find a way to connect. So this is the rule of the game. Everybody can play, right? So I'll need you to pay attention. I want you to use your chat box. That's going to be important because you are all on mute. And so you'll need your chat box. And I will just recommend you keep a list. So however you keep your list, whether it's on your phone, whether it's with a piece of paper and a pen, because we're going to be, I'm going to say, like, saying names and things to that effect. So I want you to be able to keep a list. And this is how it's going to work. I'm going to tag somebody. And that just means that I'm going to pick a name randomly in the gallery of people that are attending today. So when I pick that name and I tag you, if it is you, you will have 7 seconds to tag someone else. And that person should not have been tagged before. We will keep doing this so we can get a chance to really introduce each other through the chat box. I want you to just pick a name, type it in the chat box. If your name is typed there, you need to be paying attention because you will have 7 seconds to tag someone else and introduce them by typing in their name until the game stops. So how does the game stop? That's important. After 2 minutes, the game will stop. If you take longer than 7 seconds to introduce someone else by typing their name in the chat box, the game will stop. If you tag someone who has already been tagged, the game will stop. And that means that you, if you're the last person, you are essentially Zoom tagged. And what does that mean? When the game stops and you're the last person, you will now become the presenter. And so Sharon, I'm gonna need your help. Whoever's the last person, I will need you to make sure you can unmic them so that way they can now present. They will have 1 minute or 60 seconds to do a show and tell. And ladies, I want us to keep this fun. You can literally show and tell anything. If you just got engaged, you can show us your wedding ring and tell us how happy you are. If you have grandkids, photos of your grandkids. If you have gotten an A in your class, anything you want to tell us is your 60 seconds. We want to hear from you. We want to meet you. And so I want to get this game started. The thing about this I want you to know is that I can tag anyone at any time during this presentation. So you have to pay attention. If I tag you, you have 7 seconds to tag someone else, or you will become the next presenter. Okay, so this is supposed to be a fun time for us. I have a slogan here that I want you guys to remember. Be forever young. In technology, it is the one thing I want to encourage each and every one of us to do, is to be forever young. And what I mean by that, I want you to be curious about technology. I want you to be willing to make mistakes. It is absolutely okay. We're all learning along this journey. I want you to be courageous. Have an I can do it attitude when it comes to technology. And most importantly, I want you to be ready to have fun. And so with that, we are going to get this started, and I am going to open up my chat box.
Jameeiah?
Yes. Are there any questions? Yes.
Jameeiah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Please, sorry, the participants have been passing a comment that they can't see anybody, so they can't tag anybody, but I noticed you didn't see that. So they don't have access to the list of participants, so they can't see who to tag.
Oh, so they can't see the attendees and the list of attendees. Only we can see that. That's going to make this a little bit challenging then, isn't it? So, and there's no way to disable that. We can move forward for now, but if there's a way to allow for them to see one another, just so they can get a chance to say hello, literally, it's just an opportunity so we can know who's in the room. For all cases and purposes, I can see people, so maybe I can just call one person here, or maybe Hansatu, can you help me call someone randomly from the attendees list, and let's unmute them and allow for them to do a show and tell.
Okay, Fintech, I hope you'll be able to help to unmute them.
No problem. We will just upgrade whoever you pick so that they can be allowed to speak. So you pick, I'll then do the work.
So randomly, Rahila Dauda. I see a Rahila Dauda. Rahila, can you?
Okay.
Yes, there's Rahila Dauda.
I'll allow her now. She's allowed to speak
you are
now.
On the floor. Hello, Rahila. Show and tell.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. You have 60
seconds. I'm still trying to see. I can't see anybody's name,
No, you can actually take the 60 seconds to show and tell. You can turn your video on, let us see you, and you have 60 seconds. Something special.
So I promoted her as a speaker, so you can see now. I'm sure you'll be able to see now. Yeah, she's there. So look through the attendees list.
So Rahila, are you there? You can unmute. She has control over her microphone, right, Shion?
Yes, please.
Okay. Rahila, are you there? By the way, that's
yes, I am. I am there. I can hear you.
Okay, Rahila, you are now the presenter. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You have 60 seconds.
Okay, my name is Rahila Dauda. I'm a young lawyer. I'm practicing in Abuja. Um, I am interested in fintech, and though I've not really um I've not really, how will I even put it? This is like just a novel area for me. So I'm trying to get to know more about it. Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Choose one
Mm.
person out of that list since you were a presenter. Just choose one person and you can tag them, and then we will now allow them to present.
Okay. Let me tag Uche Comfort or Mom.
Uche Comfort. Thank you, Rahila.
Okay, I've got
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
so she can speak now.
Bye, Rahila, and welcome. This will be the last one. I think we've lost her. Was it Uche? Okay, Ushi.
Okay, she's there.
Hi, Ushi Comfort. You can unmute your mic. You are now the presenter. Welcome. Uh-oh, can she unmute? Maybe Sharon, can you help her to unmute her mic? Okay.
She has to.
Okay, there she is. Hello, Ushi. Can you speak for us? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? You have a nice radio voice.
I'm fine. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. You have 60 seconds. Why don't you tell us something, show and tell, anything you want to tell us about yourself, and maybe what you're looking to learn from today's session.
Okay, good morning. I was just invited by somebody to participate, and I really want to know more about it. I don't really know much about it, but I just want to know more about it. I'm from Lagos. I'm calling from Lagos. Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you. We can hear you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. So Rahila and Ushi, thank you for coming to the presenters floor and presenting to everyone and introducing yourselves. So Sharon, we can put them back in the attendees room. That's fine.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure meeting you both. So as you can see with technology, you just have to roll with the punches. You have to, in this situation, we're not able to see one another, but we have, Shayon who's able to bring people into the presenter space so they can see everyone. And so I just love the fact that technology allows for us to be. And so today what I'm going to really introduce everybody to are some digital tools to help you in various areas. Whether you are a novice or whether you are advanced, you can learn a little bit of something, I'm hoping, from what I'm going to show today. I'll try to keep it very simple and practical, as the leadership has certainly advised and instructed. So we're going to talk about digital tools for information processing. We're going to talk about it for communication and meetings, and for content creation, editing, and securing your information. And then we're going to leave it for some Q&A. So let's look at things from the World Economic Forum. They do this or provide this information like every 5 years, the top skills that are needed. So I want us to look back 5 years ago, look at the current situation, and then look at where are we going to be going in the next 5 years, and make sure that we prepare ourselves as a WIMBIZ group today, as well as just thinking about it in general. So if we look 5 years ago, back in 2015, is actually quite similar to 2020, except you can see that there's one area that I called out called quality control. And if you think about 2015 back then, there was a lot of manual processes going on, right? We talked about banking, whether you wanted to open up an account, you would have to physically go into the bank to do that. Or you would have a relationship manager who would physically come to your offices or somewhere to your home to be able to help you do that. In so many other businesses, quality control, because of the human intervention or interaction that had to happen, it, it was such a critical skill back then that made it to the list in 2015. By 2020, you see that that is not on the list. A lot more automation had come into play in 2020. But the things that have been highlighted here is emotional intelligence and cognitive flexibility. So as you see, as we're progressing, we're moving away from some of the manual into more of the automated, and now being able to how we I'm going to say relate to people emotionally is very, very important in today's age. And now let's transform ourselves and think about, where do we need to be by 2025? The World Economic Forum has highlighted a number of skills here, 10 skills, that I want us to kind of take a serious deep dive in. Technology is first and foremost. It is very much present. Everything from having strong analytical thinking skills. As you can see, that didn't exist 2015 and 2020. It's not even on the list. Innovation being another one is critical thinking and analysis. So it's complemented with analysis this time. So those kinds of skills are critically important for us. And then you can see technology again, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design, and programming. All these things are going to be critically important. So you need to think about ways that we can grow our experience to be able to ensure that we're going to be ready for 2025 in these areas. One other area I want to point out here, because it's only one on the list, which is the self-management side of things. If you look at leadership and social influence, that's a completely new one. Social influence. Can you begin to think about how that is going to be a critical skill moving forward 5 years from now? And that self-management is another critical one. I tell my team today, it takes more than just being digital to be successful in 2021. It's also going to take someone who is disciplined, who has strong self-management skills, who can be able to make sure that they can manage their own calendar, they manage their own deliverables, and make sure that they're delivering on the goals of an organization. So self-management, being digital and disciplined, is very important. So let's make sure that we're keeping that in mind. Remember, I can tag anyone at any time, so I just want you to keep that in mind. We'll make sure that maybe the next one we'll have Tolu pick somebody to tag in the next go round, and we'll bring them in as a presenter so we can meet someone else. But for now, we'll keep moving forward. So let's talk about just digital skills altogether. What are digital skills? Simply, it means that you are able to use digital devices, be able to communicate on various applications and platforms, and being able to network and share and manage information. That is what a digital skill growing, and I'm going to say a competence around digital skills means. And why are these skills so important? I think it's obvious, right? The world is transforming. The world is moving. Work today, it relies heavily on an employee that's able to communicate digitally. That's everyone from the top down, from the directors in the boardroom to the person who's cleaning the break room. Everyone needs to be connected, whether you're receiving emails, social, I'm going to say media communications from your company, or whether you're using different platforms of sharing information. Everyone needs to be a part of this digital transformation. And think about it, 20 years ago, we didn't have certain roles that exist in organizations, such as web analysts or even social media consultants. That's a true profession nowadays. And so when we think about that, these skills are going to continue into the near future, into 2025. And there'll be new roles and new opportunities that will present themselves. So when we think about digital skills, this will help us to improve career prospects, by really honing into what it takes to be really digitally savvy. It's going to allow for us to grow in our career staying power, climb that corporate ladder or career ladder, allow for us to be the ones in line for promotions and earning premiums. So let's make sure that we remember we want to stay young. We want to make sure that we're forever young and constantly improving our skill sets and being curious about that. The main other thing that has proven itself in 2020, if you will, is having the flexibility to work as a freelancer. When people were losing jobs, unfortunately, last year, those that had these digital skills found that it was possible for them to find freelance work and work remotely for businesses, whether they were doing online websites, whether they were helping to program digital payment platforms, whether they were just doing social media, every day updating social media platforms and things to that effect. Having digital skills allows for us to be flexible and be able to work remotely in an environment that we have today. So this is an opportunity for me to really just kind of break down what I consider as basic digital skills and where that can actually transform you to if you now want to move into an advanced digital skill level. This slide is going to take a little time because I want to be able to make sure that we begin to think about this as essential skills. These are no longer, nice to have skills. These are basic skills for gainful employment. So let's talk about the digital foundational skills. You have to be able to use a browser. For people who have, smartphones, they have the ability to connect to the internet, and those are just what I consider basic skills, but having the ability to get access to information at your fingertips any moment, anytime, 24/7, 365 is fundamental. I've been showing pictures of children literally in this slide deck showing that, it starts at a very young age. So where kids are able to access technology and be able to use it for information. So how does that transform to something where we would consider an advanced digital skill? Let's take digital marketing skills, for example. Not only do you have access to a browser, but if you're a small business, you can now be able to take your business and put it on the internet, be able to create websites to draw audiences and customers to yourself. You'll be able to now do email marketing, collect the information of those customers that are coming to your website by saying, why don't you sign up for a newsletter? Now you have their emails and you'll be able to connect to them at a whole nother level. Those are advanced skills when it comes to digital foundation. Communication is another area that we all need to make sure that we're constantly saying that it's going to have to be a basic fundamental for us. Can we access email? Do you have an email? And today I encourage everyone, not only have them for yourself, but look at your older generation, your parents. Like my mother, she has an email address. She's able to communicate with me, share documents. She's in another country altogether, and we're able to communicate seamlessly, attach files, be able to participate in social media. That goes across the entire generation spectrum, from the youth using Snapchat to the older people who want to use Facebook and everyone in between, right? That's how we communicate today. Take it and advance it, move it to a whole nother level. This is now, once you have these platforms and you're using them, how are you monitoring them? Are you able to do some form of performance measurement? People who are using or coming to your social media, are you able to engage with them? Are you able to monitor that engagement? Are you able to now become an influencer as a result of it? Because now you have so many people who are engaging with you and following you. That's an advanced level of communication. And so as we're, figuring ourselves out and learning how to use all of these technologies, just realize there's a spectrum of learning from the basic fundamentals all the way to an advanced level. Handling information and content. This is very critical. There's so much information out there, but we want to make sure that we're using content that is reliable, not using fake news and sharing fake information. We should do the research. There's various search engines. Find those that are reliable to put together content that you want to share across various devices. Moving that to an advanced level, now that you're able to compile all of this different content, reliable content, how do you now communicate that at an advanced level to an audience, making the user experience enjoyable? This is where it comes to developing applications to take that content at another level, where it's interactive with the customer or with other people that you're working with. Creating websites with that content, blogs, and all of the digital channels that people now are accustomed to using. That is an advanced level of handling communication. Transacting. This is one that I would certainly encourage. Today, the way business happens is not walking into brick and mortar. That's not the only way to get business done. E-commerce, having a way to be able to purchase your goods online, that's a basic skill nowadays. Being able to top up your phone, you're not having to get a scratch card on the side of the roads anymore. Digital skills allows for you to literally get it right over your phone. In fact, you can top up and pay later. So there's a lot of opportunities there when it comes to getting those basic skills. Taking it to an advanced level again, that's now that you have all of these digital platforms for purchasing goods and doing those types of things, and you say you have a business now that's allowing for customers to purchase goods, you now want to do analytics behind those transactions. You want to know who those customers are. You want to segment them. People who are buying children products, you want to promote more children products to them by segmenting them. If they're buying household goods or things to that effect, you want to be able to segment, analyze that data, use that data to be able to provide transactions that people will want to buy even more of. And so that's an advanced level of transacting. Problem solving. This is one that I absolutely love because I'll talk about the advanced side of it in a moment. But problem solving are simple things. Getting the right information to be able to solve a problem is a critical basic skill in the digital world. Finding tutorials, doing research. I was a homeschool mother for 5 years, and my kids had to learn how to research answers, finding tutorials, blog posts, finding chat rooms of other like-minded people so you can go in and understand and share ideas and come up with solutions to problems in the real world. A lot of this is being done digitally. Now, if you take it to an advanced level, this is when you start talking about artificial intelligence and automation. And I'm going to give a few examples here with this. Is teaching machines to do the work that people would normally do. So you can go to a website today and you could be looking at some items, and then just say a little toast pops up at the bottom of your screen and says, "Can we help you?" And it's a chat box. Those are bots that are able to now essentially take keywords and be able to answer the questions that a customer may have without a human intervention happening at all. It's not only on the computer, you have it over telephones, you can call into a utility company, and you can speak to a voice automated system. This is a digital platform that can address all the questions you have, take your payments, schedule someone to come to your house, and you never speak to a person at all. That is an advanced level of problem solving. And then finally, being safe and legal online. This is last, but definitely not least. As individuals, we actually have a lot of information and a lot of data. And this is about even people that we care most about. Our family, our colleagues at work. We have got to be very conscious of the fact in this digital age, information sharing and being safe online is first and foremost, is very critical, is very key. Passwords that you have, being connected to so many websites out there that are requiring for you to log in with a username and password. How do you remember it all? Having to have different types of password. This one is 8 characters. You have to have a capital letter and a lowercase letter and a character key. It's a lot to do. And so when this digital age, I want to give you some tips, some practical tips on how I personally manage all of these skills, basic and advanced. I'll give you just a few examples here. So I'm going to show you 3 websites here. One is Lastpass, one is AppSumo, and then I'm going to show you another one called Involve Me. So I'm going to share my screen here. This is Lastpass. This is an application that I've been using now for quite a few years, but all it does is simply help me have this as the last password that I would ever need to remember. I log in with my Lastpass password, username and password. So I'm going to use this particular account. So this is one password that I'm going to use, and I will literally get access to my entire life of passwords. I've simplified this. I only have myself logging in once, but you can do multiple authentication, dual authentication, so you can have it over not only using your password, but also having an authenticator application to let you get access. But as you can see, I have various items in here. I have payment cards, bank accounts, passwords. You won't be able to see any of the details, but it gives you an idea for someone like me who uses hundreds of tools and software applications. This makes it very easy for me. I can go to any of my banks. I can go to my kids' schools. They have their schools and their passwords and so many different things that I have to help manage for them. If I have different business applications for my job, I'm able to easily find that. And as you can see in my business application, I have one that is called AppSumo. I love this application, which is why I want to show it to you. This has been a lifesaver for me. I'm a very frugal person. I spend my money very wisely. I try to at least. And so AppSumo is a site that I was introduced to some years ago. I need to log into this site. Again, I don't remember. I've had this site for years. It requires you to update it and change the username and password the password every now and then. But I'm going to use Lastpass to log in, right? So as you can see here, I've identified myself. I'm Jameeiah, so my Lastpass comes up. I'm going to log into my AppSumo application because it's in my Lastpass. It immediately applies my password. I don't have to remember it, and I'm able to log right in. AppSumo, the reason I'm showing you this is because there are so many software applications out here that will make your lives easy. And AppSumo is a site where you can get the latest, most recent applications literally hot off the press. Some of them have never even been released to the public. They're only available in AppSumo. You can get some of them for free. You can get some of them for small payments, one-time, lifetime payment, and you can use it indefinitely. And I've been so lucky on this particular application. Like, see, this one right here is free. And the reason I'm showing you this, and I recommend you take it down, some of these applications that you might buy, you pay like $99 and you have a lifetime subscription for it. When it comes out and it releases to the public, it can be an annual subscription. It can be a per user subscription. You can end up paying thousands of dollars to use that same application that I paid one time for, like 99 bucks, and I can use it forever. And I'm going to show you my last favorite application here that I got off of AppSumo, which is called Involve Me. Involve Me is an application that allows for us as an organization, and I wanted to show you. Just trust me that I used my Lastpass to log into this. So Involve Me is a wonderful application that allows for you to be able to gather feedback. You can gather feedback from your customers, from your staff, from your church group, from your associations, and you create surveys. These surveys can be sent out through email, they can be sent out through your phones, you can connect them into your signature page, it doesn't matter. And let me show you an example of one of the surveys that we've created just for our employees. Now, I got this product off of AppSumo for I think $29.99. I've had it now for at least 5 years, I believe. It's been a long time. And today, if I wanted to have this particular application, I'll be paying on a monthly basis for it. And I would have to upgrade to some of the features that I have now absolutely free, where I can put in my own pictures. This is a picture of my organization. This is my Epic Nation at Credit Registry. As you can see, we do an annual employee survey. So it's a wonderful survey that we can easily create using Involve Me. It gets a pulse of my entire organization. Each of the departments can come in. They're going to be given a questionnaire. At the end, we get all of the analytics and we can tell our strength. And this is a fantastic application that I bought for a little of nothing. So all of this just goes to show you and tell you that with these types of tools, realizing that digital technology and tools and services are here to stay, you really want to make sure that you take advantage of some of the things like Lastpass, AppSumo, and Involve Me in order to really make sure you stay on top of everything that's available to you. So I'm going to go back here to my presentation. I hope that that was a little practical understanding of how you can really grow and get a lot of software, but be able to manage it with products and services like Lastpass. So we have about 95 participants that are on the meeting now, and I would love to meet somebody. So let me have Tolu, can you please pick someone and invite them in so they can introduce themselves. So they are officially Zoom tagged. And feel free to really tell us anything you would like to tell us about yourself in 60 seconds.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Aworanti-Ekugo. I'm glad to be here on the platform today, and I believe I'm going to gain a whole lot of knowledge while on this platform. I live in Lagos, and I believe with this seminar, I'll be able to increase my knowledge about fintech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aworanti-Ekugo. It's a pleasure to have you. I know it was just, you know, on the spare moment, you're being pushed into the panelist session, but you did a fantastic job. It's a pleasure meeting you. We'll go back into the attendees. You're welcome. So let's talk a little bit about digital tools. This would be a much quicker session. Again, I want to kind of make this as practical as possible. When we talk about information processing in the digital workplace today, it is no longer constrained by our physical world. And we can literally attest to that now every day in Lagos traffic, right? So we still have Lagos traffic, but just realize with the digital workspace that we have, a lot of people are actually still working from home. And so that means that they can still get access to the information they need to do their jobs. They can still do their jobs right there from the comforts of their own home. Their kids are able to be right there next to them going to school. And that's the beauty of being able to have tools that I have here, listed here, to be able to make that happen. Microsoft Office 365 is a great tool for sharing and posting and having information available across your entire organization for people to be able to access it and process that information. We use Microsoft Office 365 intranet at my company. We also have a remote desktop application. We use that for our remote workers as well as some of our clients, our customers. And there's also cloud services. And I will briefly take us into an example of those particular technologies. But digital tools in general is a way that we work online and using online resources to complete our jobs, to do the things that we need to do. The beauty of this is that these particular tools are available through our browser, right? You don't necessarily have to download heavy applications. You can switch it on literally by going to your browser, typing in the URL or the address where the information is stored, and be able to get access to a world of information. And that can be done on platforms such as your computer, your phone, and even your internet. And as you can see in this little image here, there's so many amazing tools, and you can't go wrong, right? You find the ones that work best for you. Skype is one I probably used to use about 10, 20 years ago, right? I still have a Skype account. I use it now for my international phone services. So I could be literally anywhere in the world. There's one phone number you can call me on, and it doesn't matter where I am, I will always get your call. And that happens through Skype. Nobody knows where I am. You have Google, and there's so many others. This is another illustration here of having digital tools, whether you're in the cloud, corporate intranets, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment, social and collaborative tools, communication and messaging applications. There's so many amazing tools out here to get your hands dirty and learn how to be able to be connected to people. So let me show you a practical example of how my company, especially during this time where we're all doing remote working, how we work together. So this is my company's intranet. On day one, staff, when they're hired, they get orientation to access this intranet. They get their username, password. They're able to see from day one all the different departments that are in our organization. They can see who we are, everything from our story, our history of our organization. If they don't know, our people, such as our chairman, you have that information at your fingertips. You can see who our MD is, which is me, but you can quickly be able to get this information right at your fingertips. Corporate governance, this is a huge part of the way we run our company. I'm a PLC, we have shareholders, over 150 shareholders, so having information and historical information about what we have is available at our fingertips. All of our board meetings, for example, our board of directors have access to this intranet. They can come in, they can see board meetings. We have ones uploaded since 2018. You can see in that year that there were a number of board meetings, the 41st to the 48th board meeting. You can come to the current year, all of the different board meetings that happened in 2020, the annual general meeting that took place. All of that information is readily available. If you go into any of the particular board meetings, you can see the board pack, all of the information that is shared with directors during that particular board meeting, the minutes of the meeting, easily organized, accessible. Make sure that your company literally can outlive you. It's a generational business. People come and go all the time, but the information is there and always there, readily available. This information is also something that we can share with permissions to other parts of our outside of our organization, I should say. So auditors, we have auditors that come in to do our financial audit every year. We have a regulator. So our regulator, for example, they come in, which is the central bank at credit registry. We have examinations. You can go year by year and see, the different examinations that take place, whether across the different departments, the information that has to be provided for the regulators to assess and review. And it goes on and on. So these types of technologies, once again, as an individual going into an organization to work, you have to be digitally savvy and be willing and ready to learn. But remember, I said, be forever young. Don't worry if you don't know it today. You can make mistakes. You can figure it out. Be courageous. Just leap and go for it. And try it with a can-do attitude, and you'll be able to be successful at that. And so that's one technology and tool that we use. We use, of course, cloud services, and we also use remote desktop systems. So I'll just give you a quick view of what the remote services do for us. So remember I said our intranet is literally for internal purposes, or I'm going to say regulatory audit type companies and things like that, that we want to give permission for certain documentation. But we have customers. We have a lot of customers. We have hundreds of customers. And we don't want them necessarily in our intranet. But we will give them access to what we call like our portal or remote desktop services, where they can literally come in only to the area that they have been given permission to access, and go in and see all the products and services that we've delivered to them over the years. So for example, I've gone into one of my clients. When they log into credit registry, they only get to see their bank's portal. They cannot access any other bank's information outside of this portal. And they can go into the years of information that we've provided them. They can see all of the reports for that year that have been delivered. And that's a great way for your customers to stay connected to you in order for you to be able to deliver products and services and be able to do it digitally, as opposed to physically having to deliver documents and things to that effect. So that's the beauty of using tools like that. These slides, I believe, will be shared with you. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to be using the time really to show you how to apply this, or how it's applied in organizations, or even as an employee of an organization. So you can read more about intranets and Office 365 if you're interested in that. You can always shoot us a note. Part of the Fintech Nigeria, the beauty is that there's a lot of technology savvy people there that can help you transform your businesses, or if you're individuals, this type of training makes it easy for us to have access to that. So cloud computing, this is another area. I won't go deeply into that, but just know that this helps, I'm going to say, businesses be able to start their business without a lot of capital expenditure, right? They can literally be able to use the cloud in order to get the hardware and things like that by going through companies that have created this platform for them. So you can put your entire business on Microsoft Azure, for example, or an Amazon Web Services, and you can access that business and all the information, all the computing power that you need. As you're growing, you can add more to it. It's a lot more cost effective to be able to allow for your business to grow that way. And so we're going to continue on into the next session here, which is about digital communications. I want to just maybe slow down for a moment to see, are there any particular questions? If you have questions, don't hesitate to put them in the Q&A box. I see that there's a few of them that have come in. We'll take them at the end of the presentation, but there's only a few more areas that I would like to cover here for you. But in general, just drop them in the Q&A box. So digital communication and meeting facilitation. There are so many ways to communicate online now, from FaceTiming with your Apple products to Zoom that has just taken off like over the last year or so. The numbers are just incredible. If you're an investor in Zoom, you should have done very well. So, but you also have Microsoft Teams, you have Google Hangout. These are some really popular ones that I think the world has become very much accustomed to. Technology has become so essential. Communicating digitally and remotely is the fabric now of the way businesses work, and businesses need to do that if they're going to stay competitive in this environment today. And so the kinds of digital tools for communicating, not only is it Zoom, like I've mentioned before, and some of the others, but email is another great way, instant messaging. We have WhatsApp, we have video conferencing, other collaborative tools. And so just making sure that we stay connected is very, very important. I said, Zoom is one of those platforms. I think that a lot of us may be very familiar with Zoom because we use it a lot, but I'd like to maybe just show a few different examples of how you can use Zoom and show a very professional or casual look. So today, you can see my background. It shows my company credit registry. It has information about who we are, what our mission is to connect, trust, and empower the different areas of business that we work with. We have access to my social media, but say I just want to have a cool day with my family over Zoom because we're all remote. I want to now go in and just have a casual day at the beach. You can go in under your virtual backgrounds. You can select, so many are standard that are given as a part of the Zoom application. You can go in and you can create filters. Say that I did something really nice for my husband and he called me his angel. So I feel like an angel all day. So I'm going to put on a halo. So you can do all kinds of fun things like that and be able to have a very open and welcome conversation through applications like Zoom, Teams, Microsoft Teams, things like that. And so these tools are made easily and readily available, and a lot of them are free to get started. If you want to upgrade, you can always do that. So let me go back to my normal background. I'll remove my halo. And by the way, in today's day and time, you were all wearing masks. You can also put on a mask, which I will take that off as well. But there's a lot of cool things, so have fun with it. Remember, I say you should be forever young. I'm going to go back to my professional background for now. But these are great things you can do in platforms like this to make communication fun. So Zoom, just to give you a little bit of idea to say that this is how the world works. We have to be there. Zoom, over half of Fortune 500 companies reportedly used Zoom in 2019. During 2020, they went to even greater heights. Recently, they've claimed that there's 300 million people daily who log into Zoom. That is an entire nation, right? So when I say the word Epic Nation, that is a nation. That tells you that the world is connected. They're using platforms like this. We need to continue to use this and make this a part of the way we do business. And the last section that I have here, and making sure I'm staying to time, is really creating, editing, and securing content. When it comes to the workplace today, we have to be ready to take leaps and bounds ahead of the way we've been doing business. And this is critically important when it comes to things such as creating, editing, and securing our documentation. 3 applications that I call out here is DocuSign is one that we use every day in my organization. Google Docs are, it is another platform that is used. I see it work really great for churches, associations. It's a relatively free platform for most of the features that you need. And then SharePoint. If you have access to Microsoft, they also have SharePoint available as well. I love DocuSign. I've used it now for a while, but just to give you an idea of why I love it and how it really does transform my business is that DocuSign allows for us to still do business while we're literally at our home. We can work through Zoom, communicate with our customers, come to an agreement, put that agreement into a document, send it over to our customer using DocuSign, and they can digitally, electronically sign that agreement, and it is legal and is binding. Here's some information about why that is so important. In Fortune 500 companies, 90% of the employees at Fortune 500 companies have used DocuSign. That tells you that the best of the best of the best are relying upon an application and a tool like this. 50,000 new unique users are joining DocuSign on a daily basis. DocuSign has over 50 million users across 188 countries, and it is available in 43 languages. So if you have a company that is saying that, oh, we only accept documents if someone physically comes to my office to sign it, You are so behind the times. We need to be able to transform our businesses, to be able to use technology like this in order to really be able to do things. And one more statistic I really want to call out here is that DocuSign has been able to allow for agreements and documents to be completed within 1 hour. 51% of all the documents that are going through DocuSign are getting completed within 1 hour. I can't tell you how transformative that is. As an organization and being the CEO and managing director of Credit Registry, we've had instances prior to our clients being willing to accept DocuSign, where we would send our contracts, we had to physically drive them to the client or have them couriered to the client. They would review them, they would sign them, they would have to send it from one floor for this person to sign, send it to another floor for another person to sign, and if they're these bigger businesses like the banks, they have to send them to completely different branches for people to sign. That can take weeks. And then they finally get it back over to us, or they call us and tell us to go and pick it up. And so with DocuSign, all of that is completely removed. Our company secretary doesn't reside in our office. He has his own practice and his own business, so we don't have to send courier documents to him anymore. He literally can get it through DocuSign. And this is the last demonstration that I will show you because I think that it is important. As you know, I use Lastpass, and so you guys remember that. I'm going to show you how my DocuSign looks. As you can see, I have a number of DocuSign accounts, but I'm going to sign into the DocuSign account for my personal signature. So when you sign up for DocuSign, I think they do have a free plan, by the way. So I don't want you to feel limited in the sense that, oh, are all these things expensive? How do I get started? Most of these applications do have free ones. So as you can see here, you can personalize it. I have my own picture here. This is my digital signature. But if you want to change your digital signature, literally by default, they have so many different fonts. You find the one that you like most, right? If you don't like any of their font styles, you can come in. If you have the ability to draw your signature like I am, I'm going to literally draw and put my signature right here on my screen. I can do that and use that on an agreement, or I can even upload a signature that I have already previously set up. So I can come in, I can do signature. By the way, I've set this up. And I can be able to find my signature, which is here. I can upload it to DocuSign, and when an agreement comes, you can see it's literally my physical signature. It will say that it has been signed by me, and it has a code to specify that yes, this is authentic and it's her. I can even remove the code. So there's some documents you don't want to have code, a code to say that is a digitally signed, like a letterhead. I may just want to sign a regular letter. I can remove all of this signed by and just have my signature there. So it's a lot of flexibility. So I love that. So that is from the individual side, right? From a company side, it's also very flexible. And I would do that and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to use my Lastpass, and I'm going to come in and sign in as a company. Just sign in as Credit Registry, for example. And it automatically fills in the password. I have no idea. I can't remember it. My brain power doesn't stretch across so many different websites and so many different rules for passwords. So I have to use something else. So I'm logged in as a company. Say that my sales organization just got a deal. The administrator for this will come in and say, hey, we're going to upload that contract that was just closed by the sales team. That contract goes into DocuSign. It now says, hey, who do you need to sign that document? They will put Jameeiah there. Jameeiah needs to sign it. Let's just say our company secretary, like I mentioned before, they need to sign it. And you can always add the customer. The customer may need to sign it as well. And so that document literally now comes into DocuSign. As you can see that this is a value added service agreement that the sales team has closed on. All of the terms in that agreement is here. This is what I would normally have sent out through a courier company, or our drivers from the office would take it. But all I have to do here is say, Jameeiah, I need you to sign here. The administrator would do that. Make sure that it's my name, my signature would go there. We need the company secretary to sign here. So the company secretary's signature would go there. I can change it to say Astor Law Partners. And then if I want them to type in their name, you can type in a name. If you want to put a date, an email address, it is so flexible. And what happens when this is completed, it will now send an email to those people who are expected to sign. You can see the name, the email address, and once that is done, that document now literally goes over to them in a matter of seconds. You can go into your email and, you can go into your email and be able to see that, in a matter of seconds, I've received that document. I can come in here, click on it, and on my screen, this is the same thing your customers would see. It says, I agree to use an electronic record and signatures. And so once I say that, it is now literally creating a timestamp, a code that says that this is authentic, it can be stored, registered, legally bound, and my signature would be appended here, just like I showed you previously. And so that's how DocuSign, which is just one tool of many that can work very well in an environment that we all have to be very digital in. And so that was the last demonstration. Google Docs, like I said, also has some of those same capabilities. Microsoft, of course, has some of those same capabilities. I work with Microsoft for a long time, so they have some pretty amazing tools. And with that, I want to close and just say thank you all for your time and attention for this presentation. I have to certainly introduce you to my digital team at Credit Registry. We call ourselves an Epic Nation, and these are my Epic leaders, my managers, and our next generation. These are their kids. They are all digitally connected. We do meetings and times with our kids and everything there. And so I implore you to be forever young when it comes to technology. Be curious, be willing to make mistakes. That's how you will learn. Be courageous, have an I can do it attitude, and most importantly, be ready to have fun while you're doing technology. So thank you very much. I will turn the floor back over to Shaun. Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, madam. It's been an exciting time, Zumo app and other apps. And really, you see, what you've typically done is to really further whet people's appetite. And I can see, if you look at the question, the number of questions coming up excites me personally, because it shows we are hitting the targets, which is to whet people's appetite towards digital adoption and then further research. So thank you very much for this excellent, practical, and extremely simple presentation. I believe the participants have had a good time under your facilitation. So we can just quickly go to Q&A. A number of questions have been there. I'm sure you are seeing it as well.
So I will start
I can also read out if you want me to, and
yes,
then we take it off from there. What will you? Okay.
If you can read the questions off for me, that would be fantastic.
So we have the first question from. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So we have the first. Isn't it risky saving your passwords online? What about the risk of hacking your account or stealing your computer? All your information will be out there. So trying to know, is it not risky having all your details online, So have you ensured that all your passwords that are online are secured?
Yes, that's a very good question. Absolutely fantastic question, especially so since you have, really your life in some of these applications. So that's why I say you have to do your research and know the tools that you are using, right? I always recommend doing second level authentication. So allowing not only, the one password to get in, but you also have a second level authentication. Microsoft Technologies allows for that. There's other third-party technology tools that also allow for you to use Authenticator to get into certain products and applications. TrueGrid is another one that we use in my company as well. Lastpass has been a really good one for me, and it's no longer really tied to the devices anymore. It's in a cloud application. So my device, my computer, if it is lost, you can get nothing on it. It is literally dead. Most of my stuff is literally in my SharePoint, in my intranet, or in some type of remote desktop. So to give you a good example, my computer was faulty and I needed to have the technician come to my office, and he could not fix it at the office. He had to literally take my computer and go to Computer Village with it and do whatever they do at that fabulous, location out there at Computer Village. And I was up and running in a matter of like 10 seconds. I got another computer from my HR department, admin department. They were able to, get me onto the computer very easily. And once I was on, I went to my intranet, I went into my remote desktops. All of my information was right there at my fingertips. I was back in business in 10 minutes. So I don't depend on a device anymore. I depend on my data and my information being in secure, various levels of authentication. And I don't want to show any more demonstrations because I know I've shown a lot today, but literally just how you go into your banking application. So for example, if you use digital banking, you know how when you log in, you put in say a username and a password. You also have this token, this fob or something that you use, and it gives you like a number that randomly is selected. This authentication that happens on a computer is the same way. It is a random number that is only accessible to you through the application that you have authenticated in. And sometimes it's even biometric authentication. So you're protected. You're protected. Use the right tools to make sure that you are secure when it comes to doing those things that I've just shown you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The second one, good day, everyone. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. Please, someone like me who is trying to how to make my small businesses digital, but lack basic skills, but trying my best to. Please, what are your basic steps I need to take to make journey easier?
So yes, it's a journey, right? And I that's why I really wanted to make this whereby I show children. And I did that intentionally, right? I don't want anyone to feel that, oh my gosh, this is so hard, or how do I get started? I mean, I'm an electrical engineer by trade. I went to school for engineering. I love technology. I love those kinds of things. But I got my mother, my father on these platforms. Before I went to Microsoft, when I had my father come and stay with me because I had my third child and I needed help, I was using a lot of these technologies. And when I was leaving, going to interview, getting ready to start working again, my dad asked me, how do I stay in contact with you? And I said, you know what, Dad, let me help you create an email account. Right? And so I sat down with him and we went over setting up his email account, and then I showed him how easy it was for him to send me, information throughout the day. If he wanted to email me, if he didn't want to pick up a phone and call me because I'm busy, it's like at least he knows he's gotten his message to me, because he always feels restricted. Like, I can't call you. You say I can't call you during the day, but if you email me, I get it. And this is before WhatsApp, you guys. So it's a long time ago. But nonetheless, it was so easy. Now he uses that. My mother uses an email, and she's up in age. And so I say, if you're starting a small business, do the things that right now are considered, like I said, the basic skills. Setting up an email account, making sure you have online banking, available to you. Don't depend on just writing checks and things like that to pay your bills. Set up your online banking so you can easily be able to do financial transactions. You want to do things such as being able to have a good backup system for your documentation, right? I know everybody likes to have physical documents, but you want to have electronic documents, and you can use simple tools like Microsoft Office 365 is an inexpensive tool. You pay like $5. How much is $5 shown in Naira?
$5 should be about 2,000 plus now.
About 2,000 Naira. So just say like about 3,000
Yeah.
Naira a month. You can pay 3,000 Naira a month and get a basic Microsoft Office 365 account. And that will give you some of the simple things such as just storing, simple documents, being able to use Teams to communicate with your staff. And so it's like 3,000 Naira for each head, for each person that is connected to it. And so it doesn't take a lot to get started. And then once you get some of those basics down, you will now start having an appetite for wanting to do more. And then that's when you start moving to the advanced, like, wow, we can do this. How do I set up my social media account? How do I, and then you now start advancing into that area. So I wish you tremendous success. Starting a business is not easy. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a co-founder of Credit Registry. We're the pioneer credit bureau in Nigeria. So we started this business from scratch, being the first to start sharing financial information for lenders to make decisions and give out loans faster. And so I understand the plight of a small business person starting. So start small. You will start determining what you want and you will grow from there.
Thank you very much for that answer. Maybe if you permit me to just also add a bit to it, I wouldn't mind. Do I have your permission?
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah, you see, a lot of tools online, learning tools online, especially on YouTube. Just put in what you want, how to do this, how to do that. You have, I can't even put the value on the information we have online, especially on YouTube, where you can see the video, see them, go through it. So I will also say it's important you also leverage online tools, online facilities. Again, you could also, if you need tailored training, you can reach out to us. We can facilitate a very simple, cheaper training for you. And of course, we have to look at your business chain to see what sort of training will you be needing. So you can reach out to us on this journey. Of course, we may even be able to get you training that you will not have to pay for, as we are heavy and so passionate about supporting, especially ladies who are starting our businesses. So feel free to reach out to us. You have our contact, and we can take it up from there. We would like to support your business. Thank you very much.
You've heard it here first, ladies. So has said Fintech Nigeria is here. So please don't hesitate. Thank you, Sheon, so much. All right, do we have time?
Thank you very much. Yeah, just one more question. Please, will we be getting the recording of this session? Yes, you would. What do you do when your Outlook suddenly stops receiving and sending email? Maybe we should just take the last two. What do you do when your Outlook suddenly stops receiving and sending email? Great presentations, many thanks. It will be good to know the negative impact fintech will have on humans in the long run, and possible plans that fintech industry are putting in place to mitigate. Hacking is major in financial institutions, radiation from some gadgets in human health, etc.
Yeah, so these are some pretty deep questions here, right? I think that I wouldn't want people to worry about how this transformation is going to essentially maybe cannibalize or disrupt and take away jobs and all those kinds of things, right? Technology is meant to make our lives simpler, which means it gives us time to do other things, to create other things, to be more innovative. So in the long run, the fintech industry is really going to be to our advantage. I think that, and I work in the financial services space, so I'm going to use that one really as an example. But fintechs cut across everywhere from medical to educational to, of course, the financial industry, you name it. So it's not limited. But I'm going to give you a good example of how the fintech industry, I think, is transforming or disrupting the financial sector. When you think about a business like mine, Credit Registry, what we do is we create a platform whereby information can be shared on individuals just like me. I'm a consumer. I'm a regular person, and I often need access to credit. I need money, whether it's to run my business, whether it's to send my kids to school, you name it, right? Lenders need to know, are you going to be able to pay them back? That's all they want to know, right? Are you a good credit risk? And the way that they get that information is through a company like Credit Registry. And so lenders in the commercial banking space, the deposit money banking space, have been very much focused on the high-end, higher value. And that makes it very difficult for regular people like us to be able to get started with lending, because, we only may have to start with something small, but the banks were not necessarily able to address and cater to that market. The fintechs came in and they're able to give a 5,000 Naira credit. They're able to do a phone top-up credit. And so all these things are now allowing for us as humans to actually take advantage of that. So it's impacting us, but it's impacting us positively in that regards, right? And so I want us to, again, be that child at heart, be excited, be curious, and be courageous, and embrace these changes and find your areas of opportunity to innovate around it, whether that's in your business or not. If your outlook is suddenly stopping, it could be many things that can cause that to happen. I would recommend that either if you are working in a company, talk to your IT team and let them be able to help you pretty much troubleshoot what that can be. If you're using an online application, online Outlook application, and it's not a client application, it could be that your payment is not been renewed. If you have a card that's the one that's being paid, the card could have expired, and so the payment is not there, so you can't access your emails. You can still access the system, but the new emails may not be coming in. So there could be various reasons there, but you can certainly also Google. There's some my Outlook has stopped working, how do I fix it? There's some chat rooms, things like that you can be able to communicate with people and give them a little bit more details about what it's going to take for you to get that fixed. So, but it's doable. Outlook, I've been using it for decades now, so it'll still work. So I think, oh, hacking, you talked about hacking. That is certainly another broader subject. And when it comes to financial institutions, and the central bank is the one that regulates those institutions, and they also regulate us. There are lots of guidelines and requirements around, disaster recovery, also, the data centers that we use, and who has permissions and access to our information, using encryption when you're sending information and getting information, all those kinds of things. And so you definitely want to make sure that if you're in that type of business, that you are utilizing world's best practice when it comes to protecting and the data. There's international best practices when it comes to how you handle secure data, so that way it prevents and eliminates the likelihood of hacking. So don't play around with it. If you're a fintech and you're just getting started, do it the right way from the beginning. We've been in business now for 18 years with Credit Registry on ground, and we made sure from day one that was our biggest expense, and we did not, I'm going to say, cut any corners when it came to it. The world has 4 tiers of technology data centers, and we chose the top tier. We're a tier 4 data center, which is the highest you can get in the world when it comes to protecting data and making sure that it cannot be easily accessible without the right permissions. And I think Nigeria doesn't even have a tier 4 yet, but just know that that is #1 priority before you even open your business. I would say that. Thank you very much. If that's the last.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. Of course, there are still quite a number of questions in the chat box, but I think our time is up. But I think the major message here is that you need to start small. Somebody asks, oh, there are just too many digital tools. Where do we start? Start small. Start with something you are familiar with. Everybody knows about Zoom around here. You know about Outlook, you know about Team. Start small. Start with something you are familiar with and then scale up. But if you are scared by the array of digital tools, you will never start. And if you don't start, you will always be behind, as we are advancing from information age to the, in the information age. So let's start small and let's learn, take opportunities to also learn more. We want to thank you once again, Mrs. Jameeiah Sharrieff-Ayedun. Thank you for an excellent delivery. Of course, the feedback has been quite amazing. We want to say a big thank you very much, and we will be looking forward to another opportunity to have you on some of these trainings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well.
Yes, thank you very much. We are right. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I'll still be on. So if there's further questions afterwards, and I'll share the slides so everyone can have access to that. Okay. I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we will now go on a 15-minute break, just 15-minute break. We have our second presenter already here, but we'll crave our indulgence for extra 15 minutes to take off to start the next session. So the next session is going to start by 11:46 or 11:45 thereabouts. Rather, 11:56. Or let's start the next session at 12. So we'll start the next session at 12. You can still be online chatting, Madam is still here. You can still be, chatter out, private chat, and ask a number of questions that you might want to ask. Thank you very much. We'll be back by 12 p.m. Welcome back, everyone. Part A of the training was mind-blowing, and I'm personally excited about it. Thanks to Mrs. Jameeiah Sharrieff-Ayedun for making that presentation quite insightful, very deep, and of course, also very basic for quick, easy grasp by participants. So we're happy to welcome you again. Now we are moving to part B, and there's no better way to move into part B other than the questions. The last questions we took, talked about security, talked about, how am I sure that my data is secured online? And of course, in the part B of the training, there will be deep discussion around that. Let me then welcome the facilitator of the second training, or part B of the training. That is Mrs. Lola Aworanti-Ekugo. Mrs. Aworanti-Ekugo is not only a business founder. She's founded two startups, but she started out as a software engineer, and now, she's a digital innovation leader, a renowned leader in the fintech ecosystem. She's currently the head of digital and Innovation at Union Bank of Nigeria. And you will see that, again, this attests to the quality of speakers we have brought together to do justice to the training. And of course, going by what we have seen, we see the practicality of their experience being brought to fore as demonstrated by Mrs. Sharrieff-Ayedun at the first presentation. So I wouldn't expect anything less. Even at the second one, it promises to be bigger, and it promises to be something great again as well, as I know you are all looking forward to the second session. Let me just quickly give the floor to Mrs. Lola Aworanti-Ekugo, who is going to take us through the second session. Over to you, madam.
Hello, everyone. It's 1 minute till it's afternoon, so it's still morning. So good morning. Hope you're all well. I was able to join in part of the earlier session by Jameeiah, and I know it was wonderful and very practical. I'm going to try and share my screen just before I start. Let's see. Please let me know if you can see.
Clearly, you're on.
Okay, I'm just trying to see where you are. And can you see my slides?
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good to go.
All right, great stuff. So I think as I've been introduced, I'm Lola Aworanti-Ekugo. I head the Digital and Innovation at Union Bank Nigeria, and I was previously at First Bank last year doing the same thing. And people may wonder, I think, what does that mean? So I'm going to just tell you what that means, just so it helps the discussion. And I know that there's also a mix of people in the audience, some people who are well advanced, at least to an extent, and those people who are still grasping digital. So I hope that I can speak to all of you. But nonetheless, I expect that, through the session, if you can put in your questions, I'll try and obviously take some things. If you want me to go back and re-highlight on a particular part, I would be happy to do that. So I'll tell you what I actually do. As Sharrieff has introduced, I actually started off as a software engineer. I never knew, in fact, I never knew that I could even code. It was just a happenstance, as they say. I basically had planned to be a medical doctor. So I had done JAM at the time. And then I did an entry into university, and I was given a course called in University of Lagos called cell biology and genetics, basically. And I was like, okay, no problem, I was going to do it. But my parents were like, oh no, why don't I just try something new? I remember at that time in school, they'd given us we had a course, Computer 101, which was, we were supposed to write some code in some really ancient language called Fortran, which you may never hear, actually. Maybe this is your first time. I won't be surprised. But anyway, I was told to actually do that course. I remember we didn't even have a computer, so I never really knew what it was. So what essentially happened was my parents were like, oh, they'd heard about this computer science foundation, which was happening in the UK. And I didn't know much about computing, and I didn't even know how I was going to, get to know it. But they were like, oh, even if you don't like it, it's fine. It's just a foundation, you can move on to other things. And so what I did was I went to UK and I started this computing course. And there was a Java course there. Java is one of the software development languages, which I'll tell you about pretty quickly as well. And lo and behold, I just started, was introduced to it, and I just understood it. So for me, it was a bit of, happenstance. It's not as if maybe I was born and I planned that I was going to be a software engineer or anything like that at the time. It just shows that sometimes, we have things within us, and if we don't try, we may never know what we're capable of. And I think with digital, with the way the world is going, we need to try. We need to try everything. You know, yes, you start small, but you need to open up your mind to try new things. So my role in Union Bank is really around developing new products for the bank. You know, we're looking on the market, scouting and trying to understand what is new, what are the new trends, what are people thinking now? How can we, you know, make what we already have better? So, for instance, your mobile app that you're using, how do we give you a service that is, you know, out of this world? That is my role, to sort of constantly look at that. And for many of these applications that you see, all of them sit on what we call software. They're all software, and there's a language which was used to write them, like in Java that I mentioned, or in those days in Fortran, which you could use to actually write these languages. But I wouldn't go too deep into that. But I just wanted to just give you a background of what I do and just how I started, so you understand that sometimes this thing is, you know, you just try and you just never know what can happen for you. Now, I was asked, obviously, thank you so much for inviting me, WIMBIZ and Fintech Nigeria, to have this discussion with women like myself. It's always a privilege. And I've been asked to speak around digital transactions, maximizing technology and online presence, and of course, digital security and privacy. So what I'll do is, I believe that there's a mix of people in the room. So I'm going to try and talk about personal, and I'm also going to try and talk about if you're trying to start a business, or you're already running a business, or this is you're looking for a new side hustle. You know, I'm going to try and speak around how these things sort of apply and the kind of things that you can think about. And as I said, if there's something I didn't cover and you want to know about, please write it in the questions and I'll take it during the Q&A session. So I'm going to move on just in line with what I was saying, that, you know, we're now in an age where digital is no longer an option. And it's not something you can think, oh, maybe if I don't have to, you know, or I'll see how it goes. It's now a time where for everything you do, just waking up in the morning, you know, what do? You know, if you're someone that goes online, you go online, you read the news. If you're working, you're either going into the office now or working remotely. If you're running your business, you're thinking of how can you serve your customers remotely, or how can you serve them better with the digital age. And I think obviously because of what COVID did, it now made this so even more important than ever. It almost made it a case of almost digital or nothing, because I mean, for those of us that, you know, followed, you know, even what happened when COVID started till where we are now. If you remember, during the lockdown, you know, people, if you didn't have a way that you had tried to serve your customers, or if you didn't have a way where you could go into the office to work, you could not work outside the office, it was a big problem, because, you know, you now needed to do these things and there was no other option. You needed to be able to work remotely and still, you know, be able to deliver the same experience, because your customers are not going to be saying, oh, these are people that, of course, if you're working or not, your customers are not going to say, oh, well, because there's a lockdown, I don't care what the service is like. Everybody still wants to sort of receive the same kind of service that they were receiving before. So, and if you couldn't work from home, if you couldn't work from home, then it was a problem. Even going to the office was. So organizations that had something in place to ensure that their staff could work from home, things like, you know, obviously email, they call them VPN connections, so that you can actually connect remotely from where you are into your office environment. If you do not have security measures in place where you are able to track and monitor what is happening, it was a big problem. Some companies have not even have had to shut down, and even notably, a lot of big shops, online retail stores in the UK recently had to shut down because they weren't prepared for. They weren't actually prepared. That was just what it was, and there was no way to, You know, a country like UK was hit, of course, we know, very, very bad, worse than Nigeria by far. And so it was a case of, you know, if you couldn't just quickly get on, then of course, there was nothing they could do. And if you think about it, as you can see on the slide, we're saying that digital technology has basically transformed nearly every aspect of modern life. There's almost nothing that you can do now that does not require something digital. If you want to travel, many times in those days, you would have to call, maybe you call your travel agent, which you can still do, you know, but then now they're like a ton of platforms online, Waka Now, Travel Start, where everything is listed on hotels.ng. You can just go there, book your hotel. You don't need to speak to anybody. You are certain that you will receive the service that you asked for. As I said, with work, things have completely changed. I know some people needed to go into the office, even with us as a bank, you know, we still needed to run a skeletal service like the branch service, but we had to try and move most of the people that don't need to actually work in the office so that everybody is safe. We had to move them home. Even in terms of entertainment, I mean, given what happened with the pandemic, we all know that people were not able to go and have physical concerts and things like that. And so if you notice, people moved to social media and they were basically even having concerts online. You know, that's where people like Instagram and co were already prepared. They already had things like Instagram Live. So it was just easy to plug in. If they didn't have anything, then we would have been a bit stuck. And of course, communication, look at how we're communicating now as well. All those big conferences, you know, if we didn't have Zoom, Microsoft Teams, where would we be? My mom is 67 and she's actually 67 and she's using Zoom for her communication for the society she's working with. She has her own account. So it's almost like, I was going to play that, but I think I'll leave that for later. But the point is, it's almost like now, you know, it's really just the time to go digital and learn it, even if you don't know. It's something that can be easily learned. So I wrote here a quote, and I just want you to ponder upon it for a minute. I guess if there was more interaction, I would have gotten your feedback on what you think about this. It says, in the time it took you to read this sentence, thousands of transactions have been processed. And this again speaks to the reality that I'm talking about. It means that as we're sitting down here, somebody has sent a transfer, so I could be in the salon or somebody could be in the salon, they transferred money or made a payment via their card, or between you as you're on the call now, a friend or something, or family member, you transferred money to them. The restaurants are open now, they're receiving payments. In fact, as we're speaking now, thousands of transactions are going through the world. So I just ask you to think of a world where these things were not there before. What were we doing? We would have had to make a transaction to pay. Either you were carrying cash, you know, which again has some security implications, or you have to, and if you didn't hold cash, you need to find a way to get that cash to come and make these payments. You can't sit where you are right now and be transferring money to your mom who is in another state or even out of the country. So it's just telling you what is going on in the world and just explaining that this is the direction we're going, and you know, there's no way back. Of course, some of the reasons why this has really been or made a big impact in the world today is, of course, because of things like cost savings, you know, that reducing the amount of time you need to go and get a cash or go to the bank, so you need to collect money to carry somewhere else. These are ways that we've been able to at least save time and cost for people. Transparency and security, there's so many, and I will talk more about the security parts as we go down the presentation. But there's a lot of transparency and a lot of security measures that are now in place to help us with accountability when transactions are happening. So it means that at least when you're transferring money, you know who you're transferring to, you know where the money is going, you can trace back to know what happened to your money, when did it arrive with the person, you know, the alerts to let you know these things, which is way better than, of course, the cash, which, you know, was the major form, which to a large extent is still quite big in Africa, but you will see that some countries have already started moving back with cash, and countries like Kenya, who are using something called mobile money, which I'll talk about a bit more. And then, of course, financial inclusion. For financial inclusion, some of you may know, but I would just share it, as I said, because I know there are varying amounts of people. CBN's mandate was to actually get financial inclusion to 80%, which means that everybody should have a way, everybody, no matter whether you're high income, low income, you must have an easy way to access formal financial services. And by that, we mean you must be able to save money, collect money, transfer money, get some sort of insurance, get some sort of pension. So as a country, you know, there's a mandate on this. And now that you know, I know that this mandate has been pushed to, if I'm correct, about 2024, where we should be 80% financially included. And that's why you're also seeing a lot of push from banks, from fintechs, to actually go and start using your app or your phone to make to actually do your transactions rather than using cash. And of course, for women as well, there's a big connection between financial inclusion and women, because a lot of women are the ones who are largely financially excluded more than men. I think the ratio on that is about maybe 67%, while men are about 55. I know there's about 8.4% gender gap. So there's a push there on, you know, also encouraging women to use financial services and giving them things that will be helpful. And of course, it's for opening new markets. So if you are a business owner, or you are, you know, or you're not, you know, you can reach new people in different countries as well, do FX exchange, and so that you can even get more customers, because the world is now globalized. Everybody is accessible online. You know, I can be speaking to somebody who is in the US now, even on this call. We don't know where people are. People may even be in the US or somewhere else. So that is so important for us right now. Now, this now speaks more to this part around how can you as a person ensure that you are able to use what is provided for you. And I will try and do a quick run through of like our Union Bank website as well, so you can see, and some of the other websites that I think are useful for you to be able to go to and sort of see what services that are offering that are being offered. Because if you don't know, you know, I find that it's lack of knowledge that is really a big issue, because if you don't know, how do you use it? Now, I'm sure you know that when you open an account, most times you fill out a form and they would ask you to, you know, fill out perhaps if you want to use online banking. Now, some people feel that, no, I don't want to use it because there's a small charge that, you know, when you transfer money, you know, you get. But to be honest, that margin has already been reduced so much. So for you, it's really about convenience. And what you would find is that as we are evolving, as banks and fintechs and everybody are evolving, the focus is now on you, a customer. The focus is on you and how to make your own life convenient. So you would see that even as people are designing things, you should expect to see them easier and easier to use. If you even pick they should be easy enough that a child can use it. That is how people are designing today. And even one of the people who are revolutionary in the industry, like Apple, that is how they designed their items. You know, you pick your phone up, it should be easy for you to, without any knowledge before, knowing how to use these things. So in fact, if you're going to use any of these apps and they're too complicated, you should write a feedback back to the company saying, look, your application is too complicated to use, because as I said, the kind of designs that people are looking at today is really designs that anybody, you see children now going on different apps, you give it to them 1 second, they know how to use it. It is deliberate. It is because we know that the future is digital and it should be simple for everybody to use. Whether you are young, whether you are old, it should not be rocket science. So please just note that, you can actually write feedback back. See, your app is hard and it shouldn't be. So just FYI. So these are some of the ways that that things are in the market for you, so that we can make your life around digital transactions easy. So when you get those forms, you should always ensure you tick the right things there. You want USSD, you want SMS, you want online banking, because they make your life more simple. So with USSD, I'm sure some of you would have used them before. For Union Bank is 826, for GT Bank is 737. I think for First Bank as well, 894 * 894. What that's doing for you is that it's simple 3 buttons on your keypad, *737 or *826. You should be able to transfer money to somebody. You should be able to credit your phone. Did you notice that the people that are selling, so a couple of years back, maybe like 10 years ago, you had people on the road selling recharge cards. It was the normal way to buy. If you're in traffic, you just quickly say, excuse me, please, I want to buy. They will run to you, all those different stalls. Have you noticed now that you can drive and walk and you may not see any of those guys? It's because now it is so easy for you to buy credit. It's so simple. People can even use their phones, *826, and send you credit. So you don't need to be looking for anybody on the road. Everything is in your hand. So basically, where the world is going is where your mobile is your world. You can do almost anything on your mobile phone. And what is even interesting to note is that you don't even have to have a smartphone, where maybe your phone is you can connect to the internet and all of that. USSD is you don't even need data. All you need is credit, and you just use that *826, and you see all the things you can do. You can buy credit, you can, as I said, transfer money, you can even pay a merchant that's registered, you can pay some of your bills. As I said, it's all about financial inclusion and simplicity right now. So that's where the world is going. And of course, there's SMS, you can receive alerts just to keep you updated on what's happening. You can receive money, you can use your online. So if you sign up for online, they will give you your online details, and they will also probably give you a token, or you use something called OTP. And what that OTP is so that they know that you are always the one transacting. So the phone number that you have registered with the bank is the only one that would ever receive this OTP, so that we know that you are the one that we are transacting with. This is aside from the other security measures like your password and all of that. So there are so many measures that have been put in place to ensure that you can transact online very easily. And of course, the mobile phone that I'm talking about. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys a quick demo after this section, but I want to just quickly run through this as well. And now this is now for people who are, thinking about maybe setting up an online business, or you have a website that you want to start accepting payments online. Of course, we've seen so many new businesses open up, and yes, you can, sorry, 1 minute. Yes, you can still, do your bank transfer. But if you don't even want, if you just want a seamless service where, I want to sell something. So many people are selling different things right now, interesting things, interesting content. So people are doing trainings online. They have a website where you can go and get specific trainings on some particular things. If that's the kind of business you're selling, or you're even selling, food or items, or clothes, or even doing makeup, you can get people to just have your website, you don't even need to actually go and find a designer to actually design a website for you. You can set up a store online in 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you online. I can't show you in clear detail, but I will show you steps on how you can do these things. Of course, even if you have a website already, you can actually then even include, the ability to accept payments from your website. So I want to try and sort of show you something. Okay, I'll go to Masterclass. Please, can you still see my screen? Can you see my web page?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll just give you some quick things of just, this is how far the world, we're taking you to essentially. And I know that, for some people, this may seem like a lot, but as I said, it's really just opening up your mind to just receive this and know that it is not supposed to be hard. It is not. So, just open that up and see the new things that people are doing so that it can be easy for you. So I've already mentioned things like Mr. 826, your phone, whether you have the data is not relevant, provided you have your phone, you have credit, you're good. There's also a very interesting one, which is also an opportunity for people to make money as well, called agency banking, where it's actually been big in getting people all around the world to use banking services. So if you have a store somewhere located in the world, the bank can actually set you up to become like a mini bank in a sense, where you can help people with transactions, help people with payments. And that's what agency banking is about. You can also always come and look it up at some point. Remittance is about, of course, sending money abroad or receiving money in here. You can also, some of the things you can do, as you can see, you can open an account online. You don't even have to go to a branch now. You can apply for a loan from where you're sitting now. You can, of course, bank, 24/7. There's also, like, this is something we do for women as well, where, it's called Alpha, and it's specific for women who, entrepreneurs and also professionals, just to help build people. So you can see here, just events on how to build your business website, DIY. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can always come back here. The website is alphawoman.com. Learn about how you can do that pretty quickly. You can also find discounts on different items here as well. You can learn different things on how you can finance your business or become a better professional or build a business plan. So many things are online, and we're even offering some digital skill trainings online as well for people. You can see free digital skills training with Microsoft and Union Bank, because as I said, we know that this is where the world is going, and no one needs to be left behind. Now, in terms of starting your business, now I'm trying to give you just practical ways that if you leave this webinar, you can just go now and just go and do it, and you should be fine. So Flutterwave is a really good one for if you don't have a store, but maybe you have some product in mind, or you even you're already set up and you want to start selling something online, where you just want to be able to send all your friends now or put it on your social media profile. I have this business, go there and go and buy from me. This is an excellent way to do that. So this is Flutterwave's website. Start selling online now with Flutterwave store. All you need to do is you need to set up your store for free. It's not charged. And I will tell you why it's not charged. You enter all your details, your trading name, where you are based, and if you have a referral, set up your account. And then they set you up a store like the way you see, for those people that have used Jameeiah and Co, you see the way it's like an online store. You wonder, how does Flutterwave make money? They make money through the fact that you have a store. What happens is that they are facilitating the payments between you and your customers. So when you use cards, and this is largely to the card, the person paying, there's usually a small fee that's collected, because obviously for the maintenance and allowing that platform run, So for that, but as I said, and for that there's a fee. But as I said, these things are so little compared to the amount of business you can bring in like this. It's actually, if you ask me, pretty minute. So I'm going to move to the next. I'm going to play again my slide back. So that's about e-commerce payments. Now we're moving on to the section around maximizing technology and online presence, right? And this is because, many times now we don't even see people physically. Most times, even before COVID came, many times it was Facebook and co that allowed us connect to people, maybe your schoolmates who you've not spoken to in years, you don't even know where they are, and then you go to Facebook, you click their names, and then you are able to find them. So it's almost like social media is who you are. You are actually your person. People are now online. You're almost living online. And they always say the millennials, who are the younger set, are actually living online. And I'm sure people that have kids as well will see, what has happened here. Nigeria, of course, is one of the most populous countries in the world. There are almost 85 million mobile internet users, and this is internet, not mobile, users. So that shows that the internet is particularly popular, and this has grown through the years. So if you see, in 2015, there was only about this 42.84 million. Note that we're over 2 million. We're about 2 million people in Nigeria. So can you see that from 2015 till now, it has actually over doubled the amount of people. And the projection is that by 2025, it's even going to be more. And that's why you're seeing like a lot of companies are trying to lay cables, and the government is trying to ensure that everybody's connected, because we know that to even be able to compete in the global economy, we need to have everybody in our country well connected in the internet. As I said before, online presence is now daily life. We communicate. There are communities everywhere. There's Facebook, as I said, which is useful for connecting with people that you've not connected with in a long time. You can find them there. Twitter is pretty interesting because, as some of you may know, or most of you, it's about really writing short statements, really, and getting people to be involved in conversation. There's Google Meet as well. There's Pinterest, which is more about pictures and sharing things and sharing concepts. Two of my sisters were planning photo shoots recently. So they were planning like a photo shoot for their birthdays. One is 30, one is 40. And they both had Pinterest boards where they were able to literally scene out everything they expect for the day. This is the look. This is the environments that will be required. It's just amazing. So they had like a storyboard of how the day would run. Scene 1, scene 2. This is what, these communities can do, because people have so many pictures. You just put everything together on a board and people can see. Of course, there's YouTube, where we're watching all these videos and gaining knowledge, learning. There's Instagram, of course, which is more about pictures and storytelling through pictures. But people have changed it. People are doing so many things on there. There's motivation. You can go on Instagram and look at some quotes and you are motivated, you are done for the day. Of course, there's Snapchat. This has evolved as well. And of course, there's LinkedIn. I'm going to spend some time on LinkedIn a bit as I proceed through the training, because for anybody, professional business, it is so important right now. I cannot tell you how much. Of course, communication. I know Jameeiah talked about Zoom and co, so I wouldn't really go too much on them, Skype and co. And of course, there's finance, as I told you. There's you can get a loan online, savings. do all that. There's banks, there's fintech startups like Carbon, there's Piggyvest. These are places that you can just go, and as I told you, these things are simple setup. If it is too complicated for you to use, honestly, they have not done their jobs well. So you should give them feedback. It is too complicated. There's so many things going on now on making designs and applications very, very simple to use. So you must not be worried or afraid to actually go there to try them. And of course, then you have trade, so you have e-commerce platforms, as I said, like Jameeiah and Co, and all these shops online. And of course, as I was going to mention, Instagram itself has turned out to be like a place to shop, and even in other countries like the US, they've even evolved where you can actually have a basket for shopping. So I go to your page, I click on something, and it enters my basket, and I can pay on Instagram. This is basically where the world is going, and I should mention WhatsApp there for communication. And then of course, jobs. I mean, Jobberman, LinkedIn, Seamless HR. There's so many sites now. But I also speak about this job bits because it's so important now. If you're trying to move or change careers or find an opportunity, it's so important that you are fully vested in that. And then entertainment. This one, of course, you have the content entertainment from the social media channels, but then you now have those sites where you can just watch movies all day long. Sites like Netflix, which is becoming more popular even in Nigeria because I think the data is getting more available and cheaper. Iroko TV as well, you can watch Nigerian movies. So if you don't want to watch TV, in fact, people are saying that TV may become obsolete in a couple of years because a lot of teenagers don't actually even watch TV anymore. Even news, you can find the news channels. You can go to channels of TV, they will be online. Even on Twitter, you can watch channels, TV, news. So it's just telling you what is actually really going on. So this is another of those quotes which says that in the time that it took you to read this sentence, 20 million emails have been sent. John Watson. Again, I'm just putting into context what is really happening in the world and why, this is something that is good that you're here. It's good that we are having this discussion because the world is evolving and moving so fast. There were days or there were times when email, we didn't have emails. I actually remember my first email when I set that up close to maybe 20 years ago. I remember before that email, I had a friend who was living abroad, and I would literally be writing letters, proper letters. So I would wait till maybe my parents or somebody was traveling, and then I would give it to them, or her parents were traveling. I would then write my letter, and then she would then receive the letter, and then she would write back. And then when her friend is coming, our parents are coming back, they would then return the letter. Can you imagine? As we speak here, emails are going through up to 20 million within these few seconds because the world has changed. And this is the benefit that we can have. I have friends all over the world or all over the different states or not there in your particular house with you. It means you can communicate with them through email or through text very easily. So I think this is so important. I mentioned it before, the bit around maximizing your online presence, because some people don't realize that you are who you are. Now there's no demarcation between I was not the one, between somebody seeing you in person or seeing you online, basically. It's the same thing. Whatever you do online is a reflection of who you are. So I think those days when technology was still new, people used to set up maybe one online profile, nobody knows who you are, and you just be doing things there and sharing things. Now, anything that you put your name on, if your name is on that profile, it is as good as it being you. Recruiters, when they hire, a lot of them go online to check out you and who you are there. People have lost jobs because of what they've done or what they've said online. videos of what they have put online, they've lost their jobs. In fact, there's a saying that the internet never forgets. It never forgets. Once it's there, they just set your name and you'll be surprised all that comes up. And I would encourage everyone here as well, wherever you are, to go and search the internet to even see what you find. And it's good that if you don't see anything about yourself, one thing that the world has done today is it's giving us a platform, this internet, to project whatever you want to project. Before, if you were writing, you like to write before, it would be so difficult to get anyone to see your work. Now, you can just go online, even if it's your Instagram, you set up a blog, you can actually, people will see your work in no time. So they say, you should ensure that, what are you using social media for? Is it for your advantage or for your disadvantage? You need to know what that is. Recently, I saw a post from Tools. I don't know if you know Tools. Tools is this media personality, and she said she had a job interview, and the job interview went very well. And then somebody then referred to a video that she had that was of her online, where she was doing some things that were no, I think she was cursing people or the language she was using, and they never called her back, and she knew that it was because of that. So you need to just be careful what we put online. LinkedIn, for me, for me personally, in growing my career, it is one of the strongest things that has helped me. I know we're in Nigeria, and I know that there's a culture of, who knows who or who do you know? But I must tell you that the jobs that I've gotten here in Nigeria, it is from LinkedIn that I got them, not by knowing anybody. What I used to do, in fact, when I remember, what I would do if I felt that I was, wanted to get a job or move my career or something is, just go online, set up your account. It's very simple. You go to LinkedIn, just press sign up. It asks you a number of questions. You make sure you have a good photo of yourself that you believe should, tell you or tell people who you are. I mean, I can see some lovely photos here, like Ansatu's photo and Jameeiah's photo here. You have that kind of photo, even in these meetings as well. When you join these kinds, you can also update your Zoom profile to have a nice picture of you where, people can see your power from your picture, because it's so powerful now. I can't see you in person. This is what I'm using to see you. So you want to have that put a very good picture of yourself, projecting what you want, and then ensure your profile is updated in the sense that people can search for you. What happens with LinkedIn is people search for you. So whatever you put on that profile is how people find you. In the sense that if you're big on innovation, and then you write your profile that you are, you are doing some good things, but you don't reference innovation, it's going to be difficult for somebody to find you. So you need to be writing in that profile your job or what you've done in the past, even if it's not in your job, your bio, what you are capable of, so that people can find you. And then people reach out to you. There's so many recruiters on LinkedIn. They reach out to you, hi, and from there conversations start, and you can get global jobs. That's what I'll tell you. It doesn't even matter what location you are in. So again, I would just say, please, take that platform so seriously. It is for people, it's a gold mine. So then there's also learning and certifications, right? Again, this has become very simple for you. Before, if you wanted to go to Harvard and do a Harvard course, do you know how much it will cost you to, by the time you get your tickets, you get the admission, the fees, then you have to go there, maybe even if it's a course for 3 months, you have to get your accommodation sorted. Do you understand? These were big things. Now you can go and get a course. Yes, you may need to pay for the course, but then again, many of them have been simplified and they're cheaper, so that you can just go online, pay that minimum. Some of them are even free, like the one I showed you on our website, Digital Skills Training with Microsoft. Some of them are free, and you just go online and you do that very simply. There's Coursera is another very good one, which you can get free courses on. There's LinkedIn as well. So there are so many, to be honest. Again, don't have information overload. Just do what you can, when you can. And of course, as I said, jobs. I mean, as I said, even freelancing. If you have a service that you are offering, that you want people to see your work, there's a site called Fiverr.com, and there you're able to, in fact, for a particular amount, to set your price, people go there and they set for people who can design a logo for them, or read over their item, or do a voiceover. So please, listen to those sites: LinkedIn, Fiverr, Coursera. Those are some places that you should, Fiverr with double R, you should go on to actually check and see what you can very quickly start, amplifying your skills, or even gaining in some revenue in. And then this is, again, it's a concept called micro learning, where you're learning little by little, but you are gaining a lot. And sometimes, those days, it's almost like before you've learned something, you actually have to go and buy a book to go and read it first. And then you have read it and you know, okay, you have learned on this topic. Or you go to a school and you learn. Now, we're learning all the time. And it's up to you to control how that goes for you. So even on Instagram and Twitter, all these places, there are some people that you follow that they are saying they are teaching you, every day. You go to their page and you've learned something. You've learned something about the industry. You've learned something new, even about self-development. You've learned something new about digital, just by going on there for 2 seconds. Many things are very short right now. And I don't know if you guys, you may have noticed that as well. People are not trying to make content so long anymore. They're trying to give you short doses very quickly. So within 3-4 minutes, you watch a video and there's just so much you picked up from there, rather than needing to watch it for. I mean, there are some times you will need to do that, but I'm just saying that for just that quick bites of learning and knowledge, there are so many short doses right now and places where you can get that. Quora is another place. There are questions there. You can go there, read it. Twitter is a very good way to get news and information. Sometimes you may not go to a news website. You've gotten all the details from there. But of course, there's so many online platforms as well. Bella Naija, the news site, Business Day, you can get news from. And of course, there's YouTube. There's YouTube as well for learning. There are podcasts as well. If you've never ever watched the podcast or listened to it, please, if you can, just read up a little bit about it. People are starting podcasts. People are dropping big doses of knowledge just by maybe a 45 minutes podcast. You go there and you learn what is happening in the industry, what is affecting your job or your industry. Or they've interviewed somebody important there that you may never have had the opportunity to meet. And there you've been able to learn so much as well. So as I said, just plan very carefully how you spend your time. And of course, if you're a business, because remember I said I was going to try and talk about business and personal, digital marketing is so important, just establishing that strong social media presence. People are very visual nowadays. So sites like Canva, which I put here, are very, very useful for you to just quickly, without needing to be a graphic designer. You don't need to be a graphic designer to have nice pictures on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Even if you cannot pay for it, trust me, go to this site, Canva. You'll be able to set a nice picture that you will like within 5 to 10 minutes. So it's really about that exploring and having that heart to open up to what's happening out there for you. Of course, you can do a blog, if you like reading. SEO, search engine optimization, is about, it is similar to what I was saying with LinkedIn, where people are searching for you. So if you don't give the right information on what they will use to find you on your site, then people may never find you. So if you're selling, you're doing makeup, you have to write makeup so that when people search for you, they can find you, at least several times, things like that. And of course, we've seen people, a lot of experts now writing things like ebooks very quickly, because everything is now more accessible. You can go and do a PDF ebook now. You do it on Word, you can change it to PDF, and you have an ebook, no problem. All in your house with your computer and your Word application. And so now I'm going to go into security, because yes, we've heard all these things, and I know that people are concerned about security. But I must say to you that security is, in fact, banks and organizations actually lose more money in terms of security than even us, the customers, because there's just so much out there. People are trying to hack your system. So if you are not secure, in a jiffy, before they've affected or reached your customer, they can take all your money in the bank, So this is top priority, I know, for so many organizations. As we go more digital, we expect that more security measures will come up. We expect more threats to come up, but again, more security in there. So what they say is, and I think the security goes both ways. So it's one for, yes, the organization can protect themselves, but you too need to protect yourself online, because they cannot do everything for you. So I read you this quote by Tim Cook, Apple CEO. He says, if you put a key under the mat for the cops, a burglar can find it too. Criminals are using every technology tool at their disposal to hack into people's accounts. If they know there's a key hidden somewhere, they won't stop until they find it. So I'll say it again. If you put a key under the mat for the cops, a burglar can find it. So if criminals too are looking for that key. So if you drop it under the mat and it's easy to find, anybody can pick it up. This goes to you now as a person on how you're managing your information. There are two prongs of the same privacy and security, and they're actually two different things. And as people, these are things we need to know as you go into this digital world, very important for you. One is data security, and this is the practice of protecting your digital information from unauthorized access, corruption, or theft throughout the entire life cycle. So, ensuring that these are things like your password. If you some sites you go online, they will say you should put in your password, you put in your name. Many times they don't even allow that anymore. It means that if I'm in your house tomorrow and I log onto your computer and I'm just guessing, what could BC put as her password, and I just maybe put her name. It means I can go into your account and do what I like, because you have not really secured your information accordingly. So this is so important. Just when you have these platforms, setting strong passwords up, ensuring that it's not something that's easily guessable and things like that. Trust me, organizations are spending millions of money to actually secure their systems externally. I'll try and run through some of those things that they're doing, things like encryption, so that information is safe, but you also have a role to play. And then data privacy has become a very big deal, and it's not the same thing as data security. It is about ensuring that this information that you're giving now online. So you go online, you give your name, your date of birth, your address, and all this information, your next of kin. The companies you're giving it to, how are they using it, right? And many times, even before you give it, they give you data privacy. They actually let you click and agree to their terms and conditions, because they're basically telling you what they use, you're basically agreeing for them to use your data. But you need to know what they want to use your data for, because data is like, for organizations today, it is one of the biggest things. It is like money making. Data is like money, because if you know what people want, who they are, and where they are located, anybody can make money. So I'll give you a quick example. If I want to, I develop a product today for hair, And I know that the people that want to use my hair business, this thing are women over, I don't know, 30. You know, it is data would help you find them. You can basically find all your customers in one place and send all of them an information with this product. And it means that you are targeting the right people. So the chances that they would buy your product is stronger because they know where you are. So that's what data is so powerful. So there are laws in place like Nigeria Data Protection Regulation in UK there's also GDPR to ensure that the data we share with organizations, the data we as people share with organizations, they are using it in line with what is agreed, and they don't use your data for anything else. And you too, when you're signing up for these things, you should also look and ensure that they are saying what you understand they are going to use your data for. They are not, sometimes you see them say, tick if you want to sell, you want to receive information from third parties. What they're essentially telling you is that they are going to share your information with a third party. So when you start receiving information from emails or texts from one site you do not know, you may not know that you have ticked that, because sometimes you don't read them. You don't know that you have ticked that they can use your information and sell it to other third parties. If you want, it's fine. If you're interested in those products, it's fine. But I'm just saying you need to just be well informed. I give you an example today that's very valid. WhatsApp released a new privacy statement. I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. And they were saying that they're going to start sharing, because Facebook owns WhatsApp now, but it wasn't always so. They bought them a couple of years ago. But now they were saying that there were plans that they'll be able to share the information from WhatsApp, your details to Facebook. And in the US or so, they had a drop of people who were already setting up accounts with other communication platforms because they felt that they don't want to be on Facebook and they don't want the information to be used at all on Facebook. So that's why I'm saying people are getting more vigilant as to what's happening in the world today. Cyber security is what I mentioned, is about, where this is more from the organization perspective, where there's a threat to malicious acts. The threat is a malicious act that seeks to damage data, steal data, or disrupt digital life in general. So there are different kinds of cybersecurity threats. If you're working in an organization or you have a small business, you should know what these things are. Things like phishing. Phishing is where you receive all these emails, and in fact, they are also, many of them are similar. Business email imposter spoofing, where either the recipient of the person that's sending the email is not what they are, not from who they are supposed to be. So you need to look at the emails well sometimes to ensure that, especially if they are not things that you expect, to ensure that it has come from the right domain. So you should not be, you see sometimes you say it's from a bank like GT Bank, and then you see it's not at gtbank.com, it's at, maybe they'll put the GT Bank with the name, Lola GT Bank at gmail.com. You need to know what's happening there, that you're not, no bank will ask you to share your personal information, your password, your PIN for any reason. I know people who have been scammed by that. Please just know that this can't be your bank, okay? So, even as employees, you need to train your employees that they need to be vigilant as well, so that they don't bring in threats that really they should be able to bring. They should have known offhand. Phishing is another one. Sometimes you get emails that either they're asking you to do things that, as I said, you're not sure, but they're tempting, telling you they will give you something. You need to always check those emails to be sure that they're coming from the right people. And if you're not sure, you speak to your company so that you don't bring in an accepting or bring in a virus. Sometimes some Trojans they call them Trojan horses, but they if you click on the link, it can open up a page on your computer where it would bring in like a virus into your system. And that's why you have companies installing things like, for businesses, ensuring employee education. I'm almost done, by the way. I know I have 2 minutes more. So employee education is key, you know. Honestly, you'll be surprised how much is cut down by just your employees knowing that they need to be vigilant. Email filtering is a big one. So organizations have these things installed so that, you know, it stops seeing some emails already. You would already have checked it, because as technology is evolving in the world, it's also evolving for security. The way we were secure a few years ago is we are more secure now because of the security measures that have been put in place. Firewalls are being, and this especially speaks to what you do online, so that there are some sites you may not be able to see because the computer has already decided that they don't look safe. You know, people are constantly doing security patches. You know, once a new threat happens, you will see, even if you're working in a company, if your company knows is really active, you see them, they will send you an update or tell you should shut down your computer, this needs to be installed. Even on your phones as well. If you notice, if you use Android or even iPhone, you'll be seeing new versions. Many times, it's not just for new features, it's also because there are new threats out there and they're trying to protect you from it. So you need to always be vigilant to those things so that, as I said, you know, both ways, everybody is protected. So this is my last slide. This is also around, you know, just you as a person and things that you can do to ensure you are protected as well, so you're not just out there. Even your documents, do you know that when you are sending a document, you can actually encrypt it and put a password? I don't know if you knew. You can actually, you know, you go to, depending on where it is, Windows, if it's a Word document, you go to your file, info, protect documents, and encrypt the password. You can even encrypt it so that if you send it, only the people that know that password can open it. Even on WhatsApp, I even wanted to say this, very, very important. You need to go there and also be able to encrypt your WhatsApp. So there's something called two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is ensuring that there's at least 2 ways to ensure that you are safe. So either something, so only you knows that. So you call it something you know, something you have, and something you are. So many times, the company that you work, you know, maybe like the WhatsApp has already asked you this information, so that you are the only one that knows your password. You are the only one that perhaps should have your phone. And there's something that you are, you know, maybe it could be your biometric fingerprints or something like that. So actually, there's one thing I want to leave you with. If you've not enabled if you're using WhatsApp, you should go to your WhatsApp. There's something called under accounts, 2-step verification. You should enable that. It will ask you for another way to verify you apart from when you enter in your code to open up your phone. Because a lot of people, you see them now in a WhatsApp group, they'll say the number has changed and somebody else is chatting with it. It's because there are things on your phone that you don't know you can use. Always search for the security part. So you should enable that 2-factor so that even if, God forbid, something happens and they were able to get your number, there's some information that only you knows, except you told somebody else. So they can't essentially use your number. So that's the last of my slides. Of course, digital is a way of life now. The other day I was trying to shop on a website called Amazon, and I picked up like a dustbin, and they asked me to hold my phone up like this in my house. And then they showed me the dustbin. They said, this is the place I want to see the dustbin. And I could literally see the dustbin in the place that I wanted to use it and how it looks. This is something called augmented reality or virtual reality. The point is, as we're trying to grasp all these things, even more technologies are coming. We should not be afraid. We should start with what we have, the basics, and then we grow. But we should always embrace them. I think that for me is what I would like to leave you with. Embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Thank you. So
thank you very much. I mean, it's a good way to end it. Embrace digital. That is now. That is the future, and it can only get deeper, and get closer to you as we move on in the digital journey. And if you don't start really, as both facilitators have clearly emphasized, you will not get anywhere. And of course, you won't be able to play effectively in the digital age. The two ladies that have facilitated the sessions, they've just shown us example of the fact that we are not limited. You're only limited by how far you want to go, But the whole thing is there for us to all grab and run with it. Thank you very much once again, madam, for facilitating this session. I think we have just one questions. Just a question here. I will just read, and then you can provide an answer. Okay, I think questions are, we will have loved you to use use Q&A for your question, but let me read out, madam. Please, I'm a trained facilitator, trainer, and HR specialist. You talked about a site where I can sell myself and skills. Can you please share again? I assume she's referring to.
So she wants to get online, like online. You can train, so you want to get online. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to try and get a website name, and then I'll put it in the chat for you. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. It's a good way to end the training, except, do you want us to give maybe 2 or 3 participants opportunity to speak, just in case they want to, make comment or something?
Yeah, no, please.
Okay. Please, participants, if you would like to speak, just raise your hand and I will promote you so that you can, get to make your point. Okay, I already have 3 people here. So let me start with, I'll just promote, 4. Okay, let's just keep it to this. Okay, let's have the first person. Okay, is Onyinyechi, do you want to speak?
I want to speak.
Oh, great. Please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon very much, Mr. Dami, and our able presenter. Thank you very much for the session. Please, I want to find out, as I was going to ask the question, on what site can I use to sell my skill and myself? That's my first question. Secondly, I also want to say that I don't know if there's an opportunity that can be given to those of us that want to learn how to develop our own websites. I don't know, develop website and also build it and maintain it by ourselves, if it's possible.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. For the sites, I'm actually just I will share the link on the ones that I know for Nigeria that you can start selling. So just give me a few minutes. I'm just getting them from my phone. I'll type it there. For learning how to build your website, I think, first of all, there's this alpha that I mentioned there. They actually hold courses on how to actually build your website. There's even one there. Sometimes they actually even hold like physical ones when there was COVID-19, where it's practical, they can show you. Or they have online courses as well. So I think that's one way. But I don't know, maybe Fintech Nigeria, WIMBIZ as well. This is something that, can also be introduced, because this is something that people will always need, So that's what I think. But there's already ways now that you can go there today, as I think I showed you on the site when I was showing you Alpha Woman. Let me put that here as well, so you can also look at that. Let me put that. Where's the chat? I don't know if that answers you. I hope that answers you a bit.
Yes, ma, that does.
Okay. So
Thank you.
time that I'm just getting all their site names, I'll post them for you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it's called trainporters.com. So I'm going to put that here as well. But let me get the actual link. And people are
While you work on that, let me just quickly read the two other questions. One, you wanted to flash a video. Are you not flashing it again? What about the video you promised to share? Then the second one is, can you please elaborate more on digital marketing? Can you please elaborate more on digital marketing?
Okay. Let me put that in here as well. So you can go to, for the other lady that spoke, Train Quarters, you can see it. You can go there, develop your own coaching, whatever you want to share, of course, and then you can share it. All right, okay, with the video, I can still play it, although I was just concerned with time. And I feel like I have spoken to you about what I was going to tell you, what I was going to show you was just around how the world had evolved completely. It was around QR payments, but if time permits and the organizers, I can still show you just how people are empowering themselves with future technologies. But in terms of digital marketing, you said that you want to elaborate more, so I'm trying to think of what angle to give you. As you know, it's like, how do I put it? To sell online, you need to sell online. That's what digital marketing is. It's being about understanding who your customers are, because you don't want to just be selling, you don't want to be flying blind. Let me just put it that way. You want to, find out who your customers are, where they are, so that you can talk to them. It's in fact, it's the same thing as today. If you were walking on the road to sell an item, you would literally be looking for the people that you think will buy what you have created. Okay, that's what digital marketing is really about. Who are my customers? Where can I find them so I can tell them what I have? So what that means for you is, whatever business you have now, you almost need to start thinking, okay, who am I trying to target? And who can help me reach those people? Okay. So I'm going to go into specifics now, like some people reach out to some particular people online. So I've worked with, as part of, sometimes I'm like a business mentor as well on She Leads Africa. And so I was working on one of the businesses where they were into fitness. So they had a fitness line. And so they really wanted more publicity. They wanted to grow their business. I mean, they had their online page already. So let's say you already have all your social media pages. But now they're making sales, but they were not making as much. So I said, okay, have you considered where are your customers online? Where would you find them? We're like, okay. We realized that there are some specific celebrities online, not even celebrities, not just celebrities, some particular people online who have a lot of followers. Or where we realized that this set of people were in a particular person's followers. What did they do? They said, okay, what we'll do now is, the person that they follow is always like, she's trying to lose weight. So, every two days, she has shown herself with, on dumbbells, exercising. I came here. What did they do? And people are interested in that. They're interested in fitness, coaches and whatnot. They just contacted the lady for free. We are giving you our clothes to use, to wear for the day. Would you believe that they just gave it for free? Because, she said that they were able to buy their customers that weekend that the lady wore it were almost 4 times what they usually wear. Why? Because they were able to find where their customers were and they were able to tell them about the product. And that is really what digital marketing is about. I cannot tell you about the whole course, but what I urge you to do is you need to think about it. Sometimes people go to blogs and they write things. Some people go even on paper, newspapers, and they paste information. But if you put your information where your customers are not, then you are just throwing money away. You know, some companies like Facebook, they give you something called targeted marketing, where you tell them where your customers are. You tell them that I want to reach customers that are 35 to 50. And this is what I'm selling. They will tell you all the people that have listed on Facebook that they're interested in sports, they're interested in beauty, and those are the people that they will send you. Those people will just be scrolling down. They will just see your page come up, your page. I'm sure you've seen some of those sponsored posts. Oh, this is a nice makeup that's new, or this is like. So I hope that sort of helps you, but that is just the whole fundamental. Where are your customers? Where can you find them? So that you can tell them about your business. That's it. I hope that sort of helps you a bit more.
I think we just not be able to take any further questions as we try to conclude, close the session generally. But again, Facebook is there, Instagram is there, Twitter is there, LinkedIn is there. So we're enjoying you to please take advantages of this social media platform to promote your brand. It's not only about posting comment messages. Those are the platform digital marketers also use. Just that element of maturity is brought into it in tailoring and leveraging data to be able to promote brands. So those are available for use. We want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Lola.
Sorry, please, 1 minute. Can I say something?
Oh, okay, please.
Sorry for interrupting. Good afternoon. I actually raised my hand earlier.
No problem. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm Eziuche by name. Good afternoon. Thanks for the nice presentation to the facilitators. I have a bit of a concern, and that's around the fact that where I work, what I do, I don't have a robust, I'm not exposed to robust opportunity in using digital. So I'm just thinking, because most times where someone works, the tools you're exposed to while working also helps to boost, your digital skills and what you get to do or learn. What about someone who hasn't got that much exposure? I use the basics, say WhatsApp, Zoom, Facebook and all that. What do you recommend for me such that, say I change jobs and I want to work somewhere? What are those tools that are more readily used in other sectors that someone wouldn't be excused not knowing how to use?
Okay. All right. So you mean practical, like maybe tools in like maybe communication? Try to see if that's what you mean, like maybe how you communicate within your bank, or how you send information or share information internally. Is that what you mean?
So something like that, yes, because I'm into sales. I'm basically like a foot soldier. So I just do most of my job is like manual. I'll call it manual, except maybe I have to, I can use emails. I can, when we have to do meetings, I can use Zoom. I know how to use WhatsApp, but I'm sure it's different from some other persons that work in perhaps what I'll call a more structured environment, like say the banks, where they get to use lots of this digital tools. So I'm just thinking, if I have to maybe change jobs and go somewhere else, perhaps are there some basic tools that I'll be expected to know how to use? I wouldn't be excused to say, okay, you weren't using this where you're coming from. You should have known this and all that.
Okay. So I'll take that quickly because I know the organizers are chasing us away. But okay. I think the key things you need in any organization is how to communicate with your colleagues. So that would be, of course, the email that you mentioned. To be honest, there are so many applications and tools. And in fact, if you get into a bank, I cannot tell you how many applications are in our bank or any of these banks. There are hundreds of applications. So again, it's really about the simplicity of how to use them so that it's not complicated for anybody who's never used it before. So I would say, okay, so for communication, I know a lot of banks use, just Microsoft, the whole suite of Microsoft. So SharePoint, so Microsoft email. Of course, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all those are given. There are also these ones online, which I think will be helpful for you to use as well. SharePoint is one. It's where people store a lot of documents, and you can write blogs, and people share a lot of information on there. So as I mentioned, SharePoint. There's also Yammer. Yammer is for communication in a lot of corporate organizations where it works like social media, but more protected and internal. So it's like internal social media. There's also, so those are some two Microsoft tools. Then there's also things like Teams, of course. Microsoft Teams is an equivalent of Zoom. So if your company doesn't use Zoom, most likely they're using something like Microsoft Tools or Google Meet, so it allows you, of course, communicate with your colleagues. There's Oracle. Oracle is actually, there's this Oracle HMRS, but I don't want to give you too many applications that you now be overcomplicated and over worried. Meanwhile, when you get to your new office, wherever that is, they just give it to you, you press sign in, and everything is straightforward for you. But I think Oracle, they have a lot of human resource management tools which help. For people that sell, a lot, some organizations use like a tool called Salesforce, which, is relevant as well. But again, as I said, there are countless amount of tools, thousands, to be honest, if not millions. So I'm trying to just tell you about the ones that I know for sure you will not use, which is how to communicate with your colleagues and perform basic business tasks. So I feel like I may have, those are some things to share. I maybe try and think about some more. If there's anything, maybe you email Fintech NGR, and I can also see if there's anything more, like a bit of a catalog I can share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also think there's a tool that most people don't use quite well, and that's Google Search.
Yes. In fact, there's Google Drive.
People don't use Google Search enough.
I was actually going to tell you as well, Google Drive, it's also for storing information for free, which is fantastic. And of course, Google Search, which is, where you can find everything. Yeah. Everything.
Just put in there, oh, I want to save something, put in there to pop up a lot of things. Then maybe you want to look at the ratings, to see which one is most used, and, So I think we've just come to the end of the session. We will not be able to take any further contribution at this very point, as we are aware this is weekend and a lot of mothers are on the call. So we want to appreciate our partner, WIMBIZ. Thank you, Madam Ansatu, for helping us with this, for making this a reality with us. We thank our facilitators for doing practical, simple, relatable justice to the subject. And thank you also the participants. If you are not here, will not be happy. So we thank you for making our time. But what we have just done is to scratch the subject, and we believe we must have aroused hunger for further studies, even in all of yourselves. Thank you for joining us. We are Fintech NGR, and all we do is to promote digital education, facilitate regulation, funding for startups, and whatever. You want to know more about us, please go to www.fintechng.org. Maybe your organizations may also want to join our membership so that you can also take advantages of a lot of opportunities in the ecosystem. Thank you all for being part of this training. You have our email address, isaac.sec@fintechng.org. You have our phone number as well. Please reach out to us in case you need any more further or advanced support on this journey. Thank you very much, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.